Welcome to Doubleheader Thursday. Our first stop tonight is Olympic Stadium in Montreal, where the Eskimos visit the Alouettes. Dave Ritchie knows the key to his team's success is the running game, and Mike Pringle is the one to stop. He's tied for the league lead with 5 touchdowns. Ron Lancaster's team's strength is defense. For a number of years, the Eskimos' D has challenged many a team's offense with some pretty good success. Edmonton's defense tries to stop Montreal's running game. That's up first. Game 2 takes us across Canada to Vancouver, BC. Adam Reid is pretty happy these days. His team is 3-1. The Lions receiving corps, led by Alfred Jackson. He had 2 touchdowns last week. Also 3-1 is Don Matthews' team. What makes the Argos go is Doug Flutie. He leads the league with 8 TD passes, and he's taken one in himself. Toronto and BC, that'll be later tonight. It is Doubleheader Thursday on TSN, and it's next. Live from Olympic Stadium in Montreal, it's the Edmonton Eskimos and the Montreal Alouettes on CFL Live. As usual, we're live and interactive here at TSN, so sit back and, yes, you can play QB1 throughout this game. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Week 5 on CFL Live. I'm Rod Smith. Tonight, a double dip. 2 games for you involving the 4 teams currently in first place in the 2 divisions of the Canadian Football League, all at 3-1. The Lions and Argos later, but first up it is the Alouettes and the Eskimos, the rematch. Our team's the same. Coach Bob Obilovich, Les Brown, Marty York of the Globe and Mail. You know, last week at Commonwealth Stadium, in the first game of this home-and-home, the Eskimos humiliated the Alouettes 32-0. Montreal couldn't get the ground game going, but they haven't had to wait too long for redemption. Let's head to the Big O now and join John Wells and David Archer.
Rod, the Edmonton Eskimos have a very simple game plan for this one. The idea is to stop Mike Pringle. They did so effectively last week and really controlled the entire ballgame.
Yeah, Mike's the second leading rusher in the league, and he's a guy that allows Tracy Ham to do a lot of things. When you hold Mike Pringle to 69 yards rushing, now Tracy Ham can't play action pass. Now he can't move the pocket, and it doesn't allow the offensive line to establish that mindset that, hey, we're coming out and we're going to butt you in the teeth all night long tonight.
Now, the Alouette defense faces as strong a core of receivers as there is in the Canadian Football League. 6 guys have over 100 yards already, and the 2 key guys are Flutie and Eddie Brown.
Well, it's got to be fun for Danny Mac just to come to work. I mean, he's got so many people to distribute the football to. They're so tough to defend. They got people all over the field catching footballs, and not only that, they got Tony Burst coming out of the backfield. He's got 100 yards himself.
Now, the Montreal Alouettes may be 3-1, but when you look at the numbers, the teams they have beaten have a combined record of 2 wins and 10 losses. So this is a big game for the Owls here tonight. Rod?
Thank you, John. Yes, and with the Argos next week, even that much more important for Montreal. Ronnie Lancaster, head coach of the Eskimos, can't stand these home-and-homers. Obi, I guess when you win the first game, you got everything to lose when you head into the other park. But as a coach over your tenure, did you like him? How did you feel about him?
I never personally liked back-to-back games, and I think most coaches do dislike him, except if it's a short week, then I never mind it because you had the time to prepare, and it was a shorter time to get ready for the team. But for this game tonight, I'm really looking forward to seeing the best passing offense against the Montreal defense and the best rushing offense, Montreal against the Edmonton defense, and we're going to see which offensive unit scores the most points tonight.
Well, a key addition for the Alouettes, of course, offensive tackle Mark Dixon, who had his wisdom teeth out in Winnipeg a couple of weeks ago, and didn't come back because there was some poisoning involved there. But Bringing Dixon back is really going to help Montreal, I would think, up front.
Spent a week in the hospital in Winnipeg. See, that's why I don't like going to the dentist. But I tell you what, Coach Ritchie speaks of this kid as being the best athletically inclined offensive lineman he's ever seen in the Canadian Football League. Now, that's speaking very highly of an offensive lineman. And I think that's going to help out their running game tremendously tonight, and that's why I think they look out for Mike Pringle to have a big game.
Well, Mike Pringle, yeah, shut down, as we heard, to under 70 yards. I would think they have to get that going if they have a chance. Although, Marty, partly because of this home-and-home psychology, I think you like the Alouettes tonight, don't you?
Yeah, I think, Rod, it's always a strong play to take the home team in a back-to-back series. And Las Vegas is favoring the Alouettes by only a point tonight, and so I like the Owls. I know they did the unfathomable last week, and they were shut out in Edmonton, but that had to be an aberration. Montreal just has too much talent. Pringle and Climie, Armstrong, Ham, Gravely, Randolph, and Payton. I mean, I can't see them losing both ends of a home-and-home series. And Montreal has the home field advantage tonight, too. Not that that's a great advantage because the near-empty Olympic Stadium, but I think they'll win this game tonight. So just take Montreal and give the one puny point. It's not a lot to lay.
Well, I know you like the BC Lions, but we'll have a chance to talk about that one a little later on tonight. We got lots of football coming up for you. 2 games beginning with Danny Mac and the Edmonton Eskimos looking to make it 2 straight over the Alouettes. The opening kickoff is coming up. CFL Live, back right after this.
In 7 days, it's the Eskimos and the Alouettes, this time at Olympic Stadium. A grudge match guaranteed after the Owls were bombed 32-0 in Edmonton last week. Nothing went right for the Owls. Ron Lancaster knows the feeling. It happened to him in week 3 against BC.
Yeah, Coach Dave Ritchie, I talked to him on the sideline. He's got a fire burn inside of him. He's got a 3-1 ball club, but you can sense he's a little upset with last week's performance.
Really doesn't understand what happened to his football team last week. A lot of mental errors, dropped footballs. Not a pile of turnovers, but it was the first loss of 1997 for the Alouettes, who will kick off to the Edmonton Eskimos at Olympic Stadium. Eric Bluntz and the Giz, Henry Williams, are deep for Edmonton to begin the football evening, with Terry Baker kicking off. Alouettes shutout. Baker missed the only field goal he tried last week. We're underway at Olympic Stadium, and here's the Giz beginning for Edmonton at the 15-yard line. Brought down by the first Montreal tackler. Tonight's starting lineups brought to you by Midas. Edmonton quarterback Danny McManus leads the league in passing. Last week he racked up his 3rd 300-yard game of the season. He has an outstanding receiving corps. Darren Flutie is back after missing last week with a rib problem. He also has Gordon Blair and Eddie Brown. And up front, Derek Schuldeis makes his 2nd straight start at left guard. Leo Groenwagen will start at center for this one. Rod Conniff has a slight calf muscle problem. 1st and 10 Eskimos beginning inside the 30-yard line. McManus sends first to the other side and then hands off. Paul Randolph was there on the tackle.
Well, the Montreal defense is led by a great front 7 group, and I think the best guy there is Elfrid Payton. It's a 34 group, but make no mistake, Elfrid Payton's going to rush the passer now. He's not going to cover anybody. And the defensive backfield, I think Coach Ritchie was a little upset with his corners played last week. He expects them to tighten it up. It's a veteran group, so I think they'll be good tonight.
Tony Burse picked up a couple. And it'll be 2nd down. Well, almost 9 yards to go for the Eskimos, right on the 30 now. 3 receivers, trips formation, far side of the field. McManus shotgun, stands in and fires a little high, intending that one for Robert Gordon, who got one hand on it, but that was all.
Straight man coverage. Montreal came after Danny McManus in a 2nd and long situation. Actually audibled on the first play to a trap play to Tony Burse, and then came back and with the blitz in his face overthrew Robert Gordon. That's a shot Danny has hit several times, just didn't get it done tonight.
Sean Fleming is enjoying life as a punter for the first time as a professional. Last time he actually was a full-time punter was back in Montana in 1991. Chris Wright. Deep for the Alouettes. Fleming gets it high. Net punting yardage for Fleming has been quite good. Tackle made on the return by Patrice Denis, I should say, returning to his home province for the first time as a pro. Montreal quarterback Tracy Ham trying to rebound after a subpar performance. He twisted his ankle in the opening series last week and struggled, completing just 7 of 24. Montreal receivers were off too. There were a total of 12 drop passes among this group. Everyone dropped a couple, Dave Archer. And running back Mike Pringle managed less than 70 yards. Al's happy to have Mark Dixon back, as you heard the guys talking about Dixon's outstanding season last year on the pregame show. Alouettes with decent field position near the 44, first down. Tracy Ham at the controls. Pringle got the call and spun for a couple, wrapped up by Tommy Henry.
Well, the Edmonton defense tonight is a who's who on the All-Star team. Who do you pick out on that team that doesn't make the All-Star team? I think the guy to pick out here is Tommy Henry, who's actually a corner playing linebacker, a little underweight, but Ron Lancaster said he's done a great job in that position, filling in for Sigur Mobley. And the defensive backfield, the addition of Malcolm Frank on the short side corner is really stable, really made it a stable situation back there.
Frank playing his second game for the Eskimos. Gain is 5 for Montreal. Ham faked it to Pringle and finds Mike Soles sliding out of the backfield. Soles took an Eskimo for a ride. Derek Beatty was dragged about 12 yards in the back of Michael Soles. That's only the 11th time that Soles has touched the football this season.
Yeah, he's a guy that has to be involved. Michael caught about 40 passes last year, 42 to be exact, and he's a guy that really makes things happen underneath, allows Chris Armstrong and Jock Kleiman to do the things they do in the intermediate area. Running the ball to Pringle on the first play, got him 5 yards, allowed Tracy to play action on second down.
21 yards for Soles on the previous play. First down, Montreal, Edmonton 40. Ham throwing on the run. He's got his target, and another Montreal first down. Derek Beatty wrapped up the receiver, Jock Kleiman.
Already an impressive show by the Montreal offense. They ran the ball hard with Pringle. They throw the play action pass to Soles, and now they've got a pitch play designed inside for Pringle. Ham sees it's not there, and of course the veteran receiver Jock Kleiman looks back, sees his quarterback's in trouble, and sets it down, make a catch for him.
Kleiman caught 12 for 121 yards last week. He also dropped 2 that would have been touchdowns for Montreal. This is first down, and this is Mike Pringle all the way down to the 12-yard line. Trent Brown, the Eskimo safety, finally made the stop. A different Mike Pringle tonight.
Well, Mike Pringle, whenever he's shut down in a game, comes back with a vengeance. This is a guy that holds the CFL record for yards rushing in a season in over 1,900 yards. He knows where the goal line is, and he smells it because they're getting close.
13 yards for Pringle. The Alouettes set up at the Eskimo 12-yard line, first down. No score so far. Montreal with 3 receivers to the near side. Ham rolling to his right. Looked to the corner and couldn't connect. Davis Reed was covering on Nigel Williams. And a little pressure from Willie Pless.
Well, whenever you've got a quarterback that moves as well as Ham does, normally a defense will spy him, and Willie Pless has been one of the best of all time at finding the quarterback and destroying him. Right there you see the pressure. I thought Tracy was a little late throwing the ball to Nigel Williams in that play.
He's had a difficult time getting to his outside receivers. Only 7 completions to Nigel Williams or Chris Wright, the outside guys, in total all season.
He really needs to get those people involved to free up the 2 slot guys.
Second and 10. Alouettes at the Eskimo 12-yard line. We're early in the opening quarter in Montreal. Ham had time for a minute, now escapes. And escapes again. Somehow Ham got back at least to the original line of scrimmage. Willie Pless finally grabbed him there, but a little Houdini magic for Tracy Ham. We saw him do it here a couple of weeks ago against Montreal, or against Calgary.
When you drop and throw and straight drop back in the pocket, you better be ready to throw the football on time. Tracy wasn't. Good coverage downfield. The Edmonton defense rallies to the football probably better than any group in the league.
So the Eskimo defense bends a little but doesn't break all the way. Alouettes will go for their first points in over 60 minutes of football. They had some opportunities to score last week. Baker missed on his only try. And no problem this time. Alouettes with an impressive opening drive hit the scoreboard. Terry Baker with a field goal. It's 3-0 on CFL Live. The Alouettes didn't show up in Edmonton last week. Well, when they did, they didn't get much accomplished. That's the story there. The Eskimos didn't get to the end zone but twice. Sean Fleming 6 field goals, but Montreal had the drop season. I guess that's the nicest way to put it.
Yeah, we talked about it at the top that they really had a problem holding on to the football. Tracy threw some good passes, but the balls were laid on the ground. Impressive opening drive by the Montreal offense, mixing things up. Tracy got several people involved. They would have liked to have punched it in down there, but we saw the goose egg from last week. They've erased that one already.
The Edmonton Eskimos did not receive one kickoff in that game last week, just the way things went. And here's the Giz. Out across the 40 to about the 47-yard line. So the Eskimos will have better field position on a 23-yard return by Henry Williams. Danny McManus checks out the left wrist to find out what would work in this situation.
Well, they've got so many. Well, they got so many things on there that I'm surprised he's even looking at it. I had one on my arm, and I finally would throw it away in about the second quarter and say, "What is this on here? I don't know any of this."
Well, that one's all color-coded for McManus. Eddie Brown, first catch of the ball game, and wrapped up quickly by Douglas Kraft. Looks like about 7 for a 2nd and 3 situation facing McManus now. And what's the 2nd and 3 play at around the 50-yard line?
What he does there is Ron Lancaster Jr. puts together a package of plays for different segments of the field. I think they even have the field divided into like 9 segments. And he puts it on the wristband for McManus, and he looks up the play in that area, and that's what they go with.
2nd and 3 Edmonton near midfield. There's the first penalty marker. Catch made on the far side by Eric Blunt, but it was whistled down well before that. Did you spot anything? It was early movement.
Offside, Montreal number 57. Repeat, 2nd down.
Alfred Payton a little too quick that time.
Yeah, you're going to get Alfred Payton coming off the corner just a little quick. A lot of times when a running back starts to the line of scrimmage, he'll draw a guy offside. I think Danny's count, along with Blunt starting to the line of scrimmage, maybe have drawn Payton off.
Penalty gives the Eskimos a first down. McManus had to hurry the throw, but his receiver Blair wide open. Blair broke one tackle, and it took a couple of Alouettes to bring him down. Herb Smith got over there to lead the charge, number 21. And Tracy Gravely, number 7, also helped out on Blair. 18 yards.
Well, this is a guy Ron Lancaster really wants to get involved in the offense and wants him to step up and start playing to the Heck Crichton level that he played in college. That's just a great run right there. Ran through the tackle. I talked to Eddie Brown before the game, and Eddie says people don't realize how strong Don Blair is. Don's just the only thing that's holding back Don Blair is maybe Don Blair right now.
He has the speed as well. Another Edmonton first down, and not much room up the middle as Tracy Gravely was there to put the stop on Eric Blunt.
Well, that Montreal defense wanted to make sure they stopped the run, and Ron Lancaster Jr. is the designer of this offense, and he turns it all loose to Danny McManus down the field, gives him as many aids as he can, like the wristband, but the game is Danny McManus's, and Ron's kind of along for the ride right now.
Very little gain. McManus at 2nd and 10, and no penalty marker there. Looked like there was some contacts on Don Blair, the intended target. And Blair looked around for a flag, but it was not to come.
Good protection up front. They got a lot of people coming. Danny stands in. I think that's good timing by Irv Smith to come in over the top. Darren Flutie's running the corner route. This is a combination route you'll see a lot in this league. And that's just the wisdom of an outside or a slot receiver that's been in this league a long time. Run on a sideline, turn it up. He may get the ball.
Sean Fleming, 6 for 6 a week ago against Montreal. Spotted at the 40, and Fleming has the Eskimos even with the Montreal Alouettes. It's 3-3 in the opening quarter as Sean Fleming gets Edmonton even on CFL Live.
Play Safeway's all-new $1 million touchdown to win for your chance to win $1 million or other fabulous trips and prizes. If your name appears, it means you could win $1 million.
Season series between these two teams a year ago. Dead even 1-1 with the home team winning on both occasions. Eskimos by 3, the Alouettes by a little bit more. in October. John Fleming set to kick it off after the field goal. It's 3-3. Eskimos and the Alouettes. Second meeting in 7 days. Chris Wright. And he's out near the 30-yard line, wrapped up by Trent Brown. Eskimos did a great job on Wright last week, limiting his punt returns to a couple of yards.
Well, Tracy Wright is an offensive weapon. They need to get him involved, and I know Tracy Ham would love to get him involved in the offense. He's one of the outside receivers. They just have not been able to get those two guys, he and Nigel Williams, the football. And I know Tracy had talked about wanting to get those people involved, and those two guys eventually, if you don't get them the ball, they begin to get a little frustrated and fall asleep for you when they need to, when you need them to make a big play.
Just when you need the big catch.
Yeah.
Chris Wright has 3 receptions for 15 yards. First down. Pringle gets the call. And the Eskimos were waiting. Two-time All-Canadian Mike Pringle, 94-95 in Baltimore.
Well, Mike had his tryout last year with the Denver Broncos and showed up here about week 10 or 11 and still ended up with almost 1,000 yards. Was the 5th leading rusher in the league, and it just tells you what he can do. The guy, he's such a hard runner, such a hard-nosed guy.
2nd and 7, and the big hole opens up for Pringle this time. He should have the first down. Willie Pless, 39, put the stop on Pringle that time, but he had the necessary 7 yards and a Montreal first down.
Well, a huge hole is going to open up. There's Willie Pless. He'll be the guy that ends up making the tackle, but watch the huge hole behind this big offensive line. And Mike Pringle gets the last 2 yards on his own, and that tells you how strong he is. He's only 5'9", but he can really blow the ball upfield when he gets going north and south.
Alouettes at the 45, first down. Montreal, an impressive drive for a field goal last time. Ham has time, stands in and fired high. Looking for Chris Armstrong.
This is a 5-step, looks like a 5-step drop for Ham. Good coverage downfield, and again, if you don't turn the ball loose on this defense at the top of your drop, then you have a problem. 5-step drops are usually there. You see it usually a 10 to 12 yard route with some underneath routes developing. That was an underneath route he tried to throw there. A 3-step drop is usually a 6-yard route, and then when he goes 7, he wants to get the ball downfield.
Or to a receiver coming back, I guess. Here's Ham on 2nd and 10, and he'll have a first down. Nigel Williams, first catch of the ball game, and the first catch in some time. Derek B wrapped up Williams, just the 5th catch of the season for Williams. So he's looking to the outside receivers tonight.
Well, Nigel Williams is a great big target, and he runs a tremendous route for him here. It's just a curl route. Tracy throws the ball on time. That's the key. The ball came out. You saw Nigel Williams come out of his break, and the ball was in the air on time, and a lot of times that ends up in a completion. Tracy read the coverage extremely well there.
13 yards, first down Montreal at the Eskimo 52. Pringle finds a way to slide through, and that'll be very close to another Montreal first down. Mike Sellers wrapped him up. Looked like he was stopped after a gain of about 2, but he found a way.
Well, that's the beauty of Mike Pringle. Watch him. He's looking. Now he's going to slide outside, breaks the tackle, and he's just so strong. The guy just continues to run hard. The knock on Mike Pringle is he runs so hard and twists and turns that eventually you can rake the ball out of there, and that's what a lot of people try to do at the end of runs, but he's the best in the league.
Now at the Eskimo 41, first down Montreal. Ham to his left. Looks to the far side and fired a little too high. Davis Reed was covering.
Well, the drops have plagued Tracy a little bit this season, but he's only completing 50% of his balls, and some of the reasons are these high throws. Tracy has just on the roll here looking for Nigel Williams, and he's trying to body language the ball in there himself, but he just threw that one too high.
He's got to Nigel Williams 3 times now and completed 1.
Well, he talked about wanting to get him involved, and it's fun to see a quarterback stick with his game plan. He's definitely trying to get everybody involved in the attack.
Ham has marched the Alouettes impressively in the opening quarter. 2nd and 10 here. He has Michael Souls, another first down. And that's the second time that Souls has had his hands on the football. Trent Brown wrapped him up. 20 yards for Souls. So that was another objective, get Souls into the offense.
Souls has now caught 2 passes, and this is just a veteran player. There you see Willie Pless blitzing. Souls sees the open area, runs to the vacated spot. 2 veteran players understanding the game and seeing the holes, and he gets the ball to him for a big gainer.
Now down to the Eskimo 21. First down, Montreal. 2 receivers on each side. Pringle gets the call, slowed at the line, and he still found a way to grab at least 5. Tommy Henry making the stop. We talked to Tommy Henry. He's listed at 183, and I suggested, you know, he really didn't look like 183. But he stuck to the story. He said, well, maybe 180.
Yeah, he ringing wet. He's 180 with everything he's got on right now. But Tommy's got a big heart. His favorite guy is Deion Sanders, and fortunately, he doesn't talk like Deion Sanders. He's a good tackler.
Henry is a cornerback playing in a linebacking spot, a tweener. Here's Ham buying time. Sideline pass, and couldn't connect with Jock Clammy. Malcolm Frank covering. Leroy Blue had a big week last week, 3 sacks against Montreal. Would obviously like to be a little more involved tonight, but he's slightly shaken up.
Well, they roll those people anyway. Mike Sellers is in the ball game, and Ron Lancaster can't talk enough about Mike Sellers. He's only 22 years old. They got this kid out of a junior college, and he's just flying around the field. And great special teams player for him, and he rolls in there often for him anyway. He's always part of their attack, and I'm sure Leroy will be back in there before long.
They love to watch Sellers on special teams. Terry Baker. Little chip shot from 25 away. And it's whistled down before they get an opportunity to kick for 3. Obviously, the Alouettes taking a little too long to get the play away.
Montreal number 90.
Swift Birch on offense. You know, you get those defensive guys on offense. They don't know snap counts. They don't know when, you know, just watch the, you know, you think he's a defensive lineman, he just watched the football. But Swift is a tremendous athlete. We had him in Ottawa last year, and he played on the end for us in the field goal unit. He actually has pretty good hands. Could catch the football in a fake situation.
Marvin Graves will hold for Baker, now back at the 30. Have a 3-point lead once more. It's doubleheader Thursday on CFL Live. The Alouettes and the Eskimos from Olympic Stadium. Our doubleheader on TSN tonight. Argonauts and the BC Lions. Alfred Jackson, CFL Offensive Player of the Week, will be in the lineup. That should be a pretty good ball game, David.
He better have been the offensive player. He had a great game. Hey, you know Ron Lancaster really well. You guys go way back to 69. Is this guy as calm a guy as you've ever known?
I think so. You know, you'll see him get a little excited on the sideline, but we had a pretty good time just kicking around the lobby with him for the last day and a half. On the return, the Eskimos get out near the 30-yard line. That's the Giz, Henry Williams, adding a little bit more to his all-time total in kickoff returns through 11 seasons in the Canadian Football League, and that moves him into #1 spot. It was only a matter of time.
He's one fine football player. That right there, ladies and gentlemen, is a football player, and that's all you really need to say about him. He comes to play every night, and he's one of those guys, when he touches the football, you just kind of sit on the edge of your seat because you're not sure what's going to happen.
He's not a bad bull rider either. Eskimos haven't had great field position beginning at the 29. McManus hasn't got anything rolling so far. He's been unable to get on target with his receivers. Got some heat there from Swift Birch.
Now this is a situation where McManus just forces the ball down the field. He's got Flutie hooking up underneath. This is a 4-man rush. Swift Birch gets clean, puts pressure on McManus, but he actually had Flutie underneath, and normally he doesn't pass up Darren when he sees Darren underneath, but tried to get it to Bobby Gordon in the intermediate area.
You know, You mentioned Birch as one of your teammates. If we mention all of your teammates on this telecast tonight, we won't have time for the second half of the doubleheader. McManus on 2nd and 10 as Eddie Brown. And Brown looked to have the first down when he caught the ball. Wrapped up quickly by Douglas Kraft. The spot will be interesting. I think he's got it. He's another teammate of yours, right? Number 4?
Yeah, we could have put together a heck of a team with all these guys. Danny's got Eddie Brown running the out route from the slot. There you see the clear from Don Blair, and Eddie gets it right to the first. Here comes Tracy Gravely, and Scholdice puts the old meat hooks on him, shuts him down.
Scholdice's first game last week played very well for the Eskimos. They're excited about having him back in the lineup. Pitch to Blunt, one-handed it. Can't turn the corner and grab much. Paul Randolph made the tackle, and we've got a marker down. Eric Blunt over 1,000 yards in 1996, 1,091 plus 275 yards receiving. Face mask penalty against the Montreal Alouettes in the final play of the opening quarter. It's doubleheader Thursday as we send you back to CFL Live Control.
CFL Live at the Quarter is brought to you by Midas for new, longer-lasting carbon metallic brake pads.
And welcome back to CFL Live, our studios. Rod Smith along with Bob Obilovich, Les Brown, Marty York of the Globe and Mail. And yes, the Alouettes are definitely moving the football a little better than the last time they played a week ago at Commonwealth Stadium. We talked about this before the game, Les, the addition of Mark Dixon, who was out because of some dental problems, back in the lineup, and his effect is showing if you look closely.
Oh, yeah, so far it has helped. It looks like a spark plug that's been missing from the offensive line. So far, the pass protection has been excellent for him, so he could sit back and look at 1, 2, and 3 receivers. And also for the running game, Mike Pringle's had big stats or big numbers this quarter. So I think he's proven that he's a big part of this offensive line.
Now, one thing that they have been doing well is getting the ball to Michael Souls a few times, and they haven't done that very often this year.
Well, you're right, Rod. I mean, Michael Souls was complaining privately, according to my sources, all week that he wasn't getting the ball enough. Now, he's caught the ball twice tonight already. That's one shy of how many passes he's caught all season in his previous 4 games. So, yeah, I mean, it's important, and he's an important part of the offense, I think, don't you, Bob?
Yes, I think that's good strategy by the Montreal coaching staff. He can also catch the ball, run the ball well, and tonight they've saw a little wrinkle there, and they're getting it to him, and I think you'll probably see him highlighted a little more on offense. So far, Montreal's running game has overshadowed the Edmonton passing game, but neither offense has been able to finish off drives thus far.
Of course, Mike Pringle is getting the ball, and this time doing a little better than he did last week. 32-point difference last week. You get the feeling it'll be a little bit closer tonight as we get set for the second quarter and a 3-point lead for Montreal back to Olympic Stadium.
An awful lot closer on the scoreboard as well in the stat story. Well, when you look at time of possession, the Alouettes have almost doubled the Eskimos there, and 110 yards compared to 36 net. Al's also leading in first downs. Face masking call on the final play, going out of bounds. It's Randolph who gets called for it, I would expect, although they didn't announce his name within the stadium.
No, I don't. I think he's probably has something going with George Black. He just didn't want his name announced.
So that gives the Eskimos a first down right at midfield. 4 receivers to the near side, a quad formation for McManus, looking in that direction. He found Gordon. Gordon eluded the first tackle, slipping away from Tracy Gravely, number 7, and grabbing an extra few.
Well, we've already seen Don Blair break a tackle and run. This time, Danny makes a great decision, throws the ball underneath. It's a zone coverage, throws the ball underneath to Robert Gordon. And Gordon breaks the tackle. These guys don't just catch the ball and run good routes. They can run with it after they catch it.
Tracy Gravely had Flutie early and then tried to adjust to get Gordon. Here's Flutie. First catch of the ball game. On second down, he has plenty for a first down, wrapped up by Anthony Drawhorn.
You know, this will tell you something about Darren Flutie. Early in the game last week, he comes across the middle and just gets drilled in the face. He has to go to the hospital. So the first catch he makes in the game tonight is a slant route over the middle. That tells you the kind of player Darren Flutie is. No fear, comes in, catches the ball, does his job, and he's just always there for you. What a comforting thought for Danny McManus.
He's really gone in the opening series last week. Got back from the hospital in time to watch the Eskimos coast to the victory. Here he provides Edmonton with a first down. McManus shotgun lots of time, and he overthrew his receiver again. He's been high a couple of times.
Yeah, he tried to force this one into Darren Flutie. It looked like there was a mix-up on the pass route as Flutie and Eddie Brown are headed back to the huddle. They're talking to one another. And you see Bobby Gordon with some confusion on his face. I think somebody went the wrong direction there because there was no outlet there for McManus to get the ball to. So he threw the ball, tried to get it into. Fortunately, he threw it higher. It might have been picked off.
Well, he was high on an earlier pass, but I guess that time it was a receiver problem, is what you're telling me.
I think that they look confused, yeah.
2nd and 10, Edmonton. Montreal leading by 3. McManus has the Giz, but the Giz can't get to the ball. It's picked off by Irv Smith. Henry Williams streaking down the sideline. Irv Smith played it perfectly and has his 2nd interception of the season.
Well, they like to get the Giz in the game and throwing the ball on a hitch route or a screen. This time they want to run him down the field. Danny looks off and throws down the sideline, but Giz really doesn't save him any room on the sideline to make the catch. And again, here comes the group up front. But that time the pressure really didn't have anything to do with it. McManus just didn't have any place to throw the ball. Giz didn't save him any room to throw the ball over there, and the result is interception.
8th interception tossed up by McManus in 97. The Alouettes begin at the 5-yard line. 2 receivers near side. Pringle gets the call. Chopped down nicely and pinned by Rogers.
Well, Ron Lancaster said the main thing for their defense was to stop the run, and now you see people getting involved in the run. Here comes Dixon, Bruce Dixon scraping outside, and Malcolm Frank with support from the corner. If you're getting that kind of support from secondary people, that means play action is probably there. We'll see if Tracy can get to that here in the next couple series.
Good play by Malcolm Frank. Limited the gain to 3 yards. 2nd and 7, Alouettes. And got some heat. Fired underneath. And couldn't connect with Chris Wright. Big smile on Tracy's face. I don't think he was expecting that to work all that well.
Well, right here, I think we've got Errol Martin coming off the corner. And watch Danny McManus reload, or Tracy Ham reload this. Pump, reload. That's a tough throw. Chris Wright's got to catch that football for him. They had something going on that play.
Sidearmed the second. Well, he faked it once and then sidearmed the pass. Wright couldn't hang on, so Baker will kick. Punting from his end zone about 5 yards deep. Edmonton will come out with decent field position if the Giz gets any kind of a return here. Beginning near the 50. Nice little seam opened up. He gets down to the Montreal Alouette 45. 54-yard punt for Baker that time. Eskimo first down when we return to CFL Live. The Giz, Henry Williams, a little more magic for the Eskimos here on a 22-yard return.
Watch the Giz take it north and south, and watch for backup safety John Kalen. Whoop! There goes the Giz. There goes the Giz. He's done that to many guys, John. You just need to get in line because there's a lot of people laying in waste behind Giz.
Yeah, he's hit the end zone on punt returns 24 times career. Eskimos, good field position at the 45. Blunt gets the call. He gets a couple. Blunt has rushed 34 times for 127 yards so far in 97.
Eric was second in the league in rushing, over 1,000 yards. He's only averaging 3.7 yards a carry right now, and that's something they need to up to help Danny throw the football.
Eddie Brown flanks to the far side. Robert Gordon to the near side of the field on 2nd and 5. Eskimos, Alouette 40. Wide open. Eric Blunt Away from one. He's got good speed as well as toughness. Eric Blunt finally forced out by Anthony Drawhorn.
This is a hot
read. The play.
This is a hot read, John, for Danny McManus. Linebacker comes off the strong side, and Eric Blunt just releases into the flat and catches the pass. Here come, you see Elfrid Payton coming. Nobody there. And this is what Blunt does so well, open field. That's why they need to get him running the football from the backfield, too. He is a real dangerous player.
1st and 10, Eskimos set up at the Alouette 13. They've been close before and intercepted. Tony Burse, I think that's his first carry. Elfrid Payton made the stop on Burse.
This is his dive play straight ahead with Burse. Actually, it's a trap play. As you see Morris coming back inside, folding inside to try to trap the backer, but the front 7 of Montreal is having none of that. They just squash the play, and Payton comes in and makes a tackle from the backside.
Following in behind Thomas Ram there, 6'7", 300 and some odd. 335 unofficially. Little play action fake. McManus down on one knee, still got the pass away. And he'll have close to a first down near the 2-yard line as Flutie came back, and Harold Nash.
Well, how about Darren Flutie here? He catches the football underneath and then powers for the first down. Danny actually wants to fake there and throw to Robert Gordon over the middle for a touchdown, and he has him, but he slips. So he checks off to his old reliable, and watch this. He just took Nash for a ride to get the first down. Danny Mack, he's looking for Gordon over the middle, but he slips right there and can't get the ball off. So veteran quarterback just resettles, throws the ball to Flutie, and not a bad choice. Darren Flutie powers for the first down.
Nice play by Flutie to come back and make the catch and then grab an extra yard to get a first down and set the Eskimos up. 1st and goal to go at the Montreal 2, over the top. And no indication. Yes, there is a touchdown, Edmonton. One official on the far side didn't see it go over, but the official running in from the near side of the field says that Tony Burse cut the play into the goal line.
And you can bet Tony's doing some talking right now, too. That's one of his strengths. He gets in, he starts talking. You don't want Tony Burse talking to you. He's about 240 pounds, and he's coming right into your living room. You make the stop on him. That's a load, and he finally crossed the goal line right there late to get the call. But you get Tony going now, he's going to start getting in your ear and
that's right,
and all sorts of stuff.
5th rushing touchdown of the season for Tony Burse. In from 2 yards away, and the Eskimos have the lead for the first time tonight. Sean Fleming adds to the total. Edmonton on top of Montreal 10-6. This is doubleheader Thursday on CFL Live from Montreal. Tony Burse celebrating his 5th touchdown of the season on the sidelines.
What's up, Johnny Shots?
See, I told you, you get him in the end zone.
He's another one of your old teammates. Where was this?
I'm telling you, John, I played with this guy. I played with him all over. Played with Tony down in San Antonio, and then played with him in the World League, the World League Championship team.
Right is deep to accept the kickoff from Sean Fleming. Good boot, chasing right back inside the 10. Markers are already down. And Wright has dropped in his tracks at the 28 by Trent Brown. Here's your old pal, Tony Burse. One more time, up, and over.
Yeah, Tony's going to crack the end zone, but he doesn't do it till late. We get a late call for a touchdown. Watch Tony. Gets stacked up right there. Defensive back's trying to help, and there's a touchdown. Veteran running back.
An impressive drive.
Holding, Montreal number 80, first down.
That holding on the return. 5 plays, 45 yards. Burse in from 2 yards away. Nice play by Darren Flutie to get the Eskimos down to the 2 with a first down from there.
Yeah, Darren came up with a big play on the slip from McManus. I'm surprised Burse wasn't in that kickoff. I'm going to have to talk to him after the game. He loves running down those kickoffs.
Had a good chat with Tony before the game. Big smile. He's a happy guy. First down, Montreal, and Ham is picked off.
Tommy Henry. You know, we talked about Tommy Henry off the top, John, and we talked about how he's probably more a cover corner than he is a linebacker. And here's where he does his best work. He gets man coverage, and Tommy's a cover guy. You see Tommy Henry right there. Watch Tommy pick up the slot, and he's just like this is his game. He's playing corner. Just undercuts Jacques Climie. Nice play.
Nice athletic move by Tommy Henry to set the Eskimos up. One interception each way.
That's for y'all.
We're talking to the coach.
Eskimos at the Alouette 23, first down. Edmonton on top. McManus stands in and fired behind Eddie Brown.
Well, we got another blown assignment. Tony Burse is in the wrong spot, or Eddie Brown's in the wrong spot. One of the two. I'd bet on Tony because that's a little farther down the field for him. You see Burse running straight up the middle of the field, and he's going to kind of get in the way of this throw. Danny wants to stick the ball inside to Eddie Brown. The ball's actually thrown behind Eddie, and Eddie got a hand in there and knocked it out, or that would have been intercepted. But Tony kind of clogged that up a little bit. He gets in the end zone, and now he wants to run pass routes. Boy, I'll tell you what.
Numbers looking a little better for McManus all of a sudden. On second down, he's got Brown on the out. And another Edmonton first down. In front of Douglas Kraft that time.
Wow, is this a good throw by Danny McManus? He drops 5 steps, and he's going to stick Eddie Brown on an out route. And as soon as he comes out of the break, McManus has got the ball on him. This is a rope. And that's the way you have to throw the out route. You have to have it on him as he comes out of the break. And that's Danny's best throw of the night right there.
13 yards for Eddie Brown. First down for the Eskimos. Ball on the Alouettes 10. The pitch to Blunt. He throws the touchdown toss to Darren Flutie.
Wow. I'll tell you what, John,
wrinkle there.
I think we all could have thrown that one for a touchdown. Eric just shot-putted this one.
And a little smile on the coach's face, no wonder. They've been waiting a while to throw this one in, I think.
Well, it's a great place for it. They've got something going. Everybody's committed to stop the run. Here comes Anthony Drawhorn, the halfback. He's coming up to stop the run. Hey, who's got Darren Flutie? Nash didn't have him. Nobody had him. Touchdown.
Blunt throwing on the run as well. I mean, that wasn't a bad move. Jim Kemp holds for a convert for Sean Fleming, and the Eskimos have back-to-back touchdowns and a 17-6 lead on the Alouettes. You're watching CFL Live, our Thursday night doubleheader, beginning in Montreal. Now we get the Eskimos a 17-6 lead on Montreal.
Run, catch that pass.
One to Darren Flutie.
Well, they had him completely fooled on that play. That's one of those plays that's in that red area that they'd scripted. It was on Danny's arm. He went to it. Turned out perfect.
Eskimos come away with 7 points after the turnover. And Chris Wright tries to get something going for Montreal. He hasn't had a big return on a kickoff so far tonight. First game of the season, Wright did take one all the way back for a touchdown against Hamilton.
This is McManus just tossing the ball outside. And Blunt's trying to bluff run, but everybody commits to stop the run. He doesn't really need to bluff anything.
It's a little bit of a pro pass. He takes a little jump before he fires.
Little jump pad. Right here is right there is Nash, Harold Nash. He's supposed to be on Darren Flutie. It's man coverage. Uh-oh.
Ham for Pringle. Turns the corner, but not much after that. Willie Pless was there, 39. Little option play. Tracy Ham getting it out for Mike Pringle. Time for the Alouettes to respond to back-to-back touchdowns by the Eskimos.
They need to get back to doing the things they were doing before. They were running ball really well. Looks like Derek Beatty is down on the field for the Eskimos. But running the football was the key to their first drive. They got them down for the first field goal. And they get back to that. They need to mix the run, outside, inside. This time they run the option to Pringle. And Pringle's got great speed. People don't realize the speed, the power. This guy's got the whole package. I guess the only knock about Mike is he's not the accomplished pass receiver, but he's got it all when it comes to running the football from the backfield.
Adjustments might be interesting here if Derek Beatty is gone for too long. Some great games between the Alouettes and the Eskimos. And of late, the Eskimos have dominated, 25 wins. Looks like Derek will be back. But for now, an adjustment in the Eskimo secondary. Alouettes looking at 2nd and 4, right at the 40-yard line. Watch for number 27. Watch for number 8. He had nowhere to go. Tracy Ham wrapped up.
Well, that's that big-time defense just stepping up. They played this so well. Malcolm Frank comes up and takes the pitch away from Tracy Ham. And you see Malvin Hunter just knife through and make the play. But Pringle was the pitch guy there. You saw him at the top of your screen. Malcolm Frank had come in and taken the pitch away. It's team defense. That's why they're considered the best in the league.
Malvin Hunter with 14 sacks in his All-Canadian year in 1996. Terry Baker sailed his first one over 50. 5:45 to go till halftime. Alouettes started well. It's been the Eskimos with the last 2 touchdowns, playing much better in the second quarter. A little combination right there. The ball squirted loose from Blair. The Alouettes still returning. I thought it was down. The suspension. McLennan still has the ball. Now it squirts loose again.
Tommy Henry popped it out.
Edmonton Eskimos, and I think Don Blair got a hand on it. He was the guy who fumbled it in the first place.
Tommy Henry came in from behind to squirt it out of there.
Dave Ritchie can't buy a break in the second quarter.
This originally looks like it's a late hit on Don Blair. It's his great return. He runs into his blocker. And it looks like Souls hits him late right here. He's down. There's the hit. The ball comes out late.
I thought the ball was dead there, but it was obviously alive. McLennan picks it up.
Now watch Tommy Henry come in out of nowhere, number 13, and going to punch the ball. That's a DB drill. They do that in practice all the time. Always has the receiver so mad at him all the time, trying to strip the ball out, but you see it pays benefits.
And right back to Don Blair, who started the return in the first place.
Major foul, spearing, Montreal number 22, first down.
So he had a spearing call, and that's what caused the fumble in the first place.
Well, Michael Souls is going to come in here. There you see Don Blair's down, and there's Souls coming in and spearing the ball. He was down well before the hit. No fumble, and certainly a penalty. But you know, the referees got this wrong, John. They called that a live play. Blair was actually down. The penalty should have taken place from where he was down. They called
where the penalty happened, right? Where the spearing happened.
They called it a fumble and marked the penalty off from where the fumble was recovered.
Eskimos have the ball regardless, and a first down. Flutie has another one for Edmonton. Found a big open area in front of Anthony Drawhorn. And Darren Flutie was not involved in the offense real early in the opening quarter, but he's been the go-to guy as per usual here tonight in the later stages.
Edmonton number 55. Repeat first down.
Right there's Darren Flutie. He's going to work on Nash. Nash was the victim of the halfback pass. This time he's playing outside technique, and Darren just rolls to the inside, and the safety's not there in time, and that's all-day candy when you've got an outside technique halfback against man coverage, boy. I'll tell you what. All comes back, though, penalty.
Holding call against the Eskimos. Edmonton looks at 1st and 20 with Blair flanked to the near side. 2 receivers far side of the field. McManus with time. Another marker is down as McManus in front of Drawhorn finds Flutie once more. And this could be another holding call against Edmonton. It'll be 1st and too much if that's the case.
Boy, this is a nightmare call. This is when Ron Lancaster Jr. is glad he's not calling the plays. Danny's got to come up with a play on 1st and 20, 1st and 30.
Still haven't heard the official indication here from George Black.
Edmonton number 63. Repeat first down.
So they're taking turns up there. Vic Stevenson, who draws into the starting right guard spot with Rod Conop injured. Leo Groenwagen moves from right guard into center.
30 yards to go on Edmonton.
Vic's holding Peterson. Got him wrapped up. Peterson's got a clear path to the quarterback, and he just wraps him up and protects his quarterback. Keeps Danny from taking a hit.
So it is, in fact, 1st and 30. McManus throwing on the run over the middle into dangerous territory, but he got away with it. Irv Smith was covering, and on the Montreal bench, that's Mark Dixon being attended to. Here's Michael Whalen.
Well, actually, he's lying down on the table, and he's being attended to by 2 Montreal doctors. It appeared that Dixon either popped the knee, his right knee, earlier in the last time the Alouettes were out on the field. Now, Dixon missed the last 2 weeks with an infected wisdom tooth, and this is his first game back, so this is going to be a tough break for the young man, who claims that he's all right, but he doesn't look too good right now.
His coach claims he's the best lineman in the CFL. On 2nd and a bunch, the Eskimos get a few back. Blunt carrying, Randolph wrapping him up. And the kicking unit heads out onto the field.
Well, that's the patented second in a lifetime call. You either go with the draw or the screen and get off the field. Hope that he breaks the tackle and maybe picks it up, but minimize your losses and get the punting unit out there.
Fleming took off last week for a 22-yard gain from the punt formation. Chris Wright is deep for Montreal, standing near his 50. So there's time for the Alouettes. They'll get good field position here with 3 minutes, 36 seconds to go till halftime. Fleming throws on the fake. It'll be enough for a first down. Chris Hardy, the newcomer from the University of Manitoba, made the catch. Chris Wright up to make the tackle, but there's a marker down in the Eskimo backfield. Interesting gamble that may not pay off if there was holding. That was 3rd and 24.
Well, Fleming just steps up and throws the ball to an uncovered outside receiver here. Hardy just catches the ball and runs the extra 10 for the first down. That's got to be a breakdown special teams wide by Montreal.
Major foul, roughing the passer. Montreal number 23. First down.
Oh my, that's Torrey Hunter. So the Eskimos are throwing in a few weird and wonderful plays. Fleming is celebrating his completion.
Well, the beauty of that, now Fleming can say he was a passer. He was roughed as a passer.
Roughing the passer.
Well, you never want to give those punters any other title than they're a kicker.
Well, he was a runner, as I was saying last week. Took off for 20 yards. First down, Edmonton. McManus was staring at 1st and 30 a moment ago. Now it's 1st and 10 near the 50. Couldn't connect. With Tony Burse, Tracy Gravely was covering number 7, Montreal.
Well, we talked about Tony Burse has a 100 yards in receiving. And there's Tony right there, and he's going to have Tracy Gravely one-on-one. Tony's going to run what we call a corner route. Sticks him to the inside. Not a great route by Tony, which allows Gravely to cut underneath and tip the ball out. You'd like to see him come up, stick the defender to the inside.
He didn't really sell it, did he?
No, he really didn't. That was not one of Tony's better efforts running the route.
Timeout at Olympic Stadium. We're closing in on 3 minutes to halftime on CFL Live. This is game 1 on our doubleheader Thursday. Dan Kepley was in his prime too. And look who's on the sidelines. Don Matthews at about 26 years old. Here's Kepley on Joe Barnes. And you'll remember this guy, David Archer. Warren Moon in to mop things up for Tom Wilkinson.
Boy, that's some vintage stuff when you see Warren Moon coming in to mop a game up, huh? That guy's thrown for over 50,000 yards in his pro football career. Cal Murphy.
That was Joe Clark's only game as Prime Minister of the country to hand out the Grey Cup. Wilkie accepts it with Kepley. 2nd of 5 Grey Cups in a row for the Edmonton Eskimos. Ron Lancaster has things going all his own way at Olympic Stadium as the Edmonton Eskimos try and make it back-to-back wins over the Alouettes. McManus looking at 2nd and 10 in the final 2:48 of the opening half. McManus to Eddie Brown. He couldn't hang on. Should have made that catch.
That's a ball Eddie's got to catch. Danny makes a great throw. It's blitz coverage. Zero coverage in the secondary. Nobody in the middle of the field. And he had Darren Flutie on the right and Eddie Brown on the left. And he chose Eddie Brown. And Eddie's got to make that catch.
It's a head slapper, no doubt about it.
Well, Danny sees there's nobody in the middle of the field. And he knows Eddie's running the post route. And you don't throw him much better than that.
So the Eskimos are out of Sean Fleming's field goal range. Last time he lined up to punt, he faked it and passed. This is a wobbler. It'll be hard for right to field. Fleming in on the ball and recovered it. This kicker likes to stick his nose in there. He'll be an Eskimo first down. There's a flag down, but that's Sean Fleming coming up with the ball after he wobbled it off his foot and punted it short.
We have no infraction on the play. Edmonton first down.
And what is Chris Wright thinking about here? This is unbelievable. This is a veteran punter, veteran kicker, Sean Fleming. But Chris Wright has returned so many punts in his career in this league, even though this is his 4th year in the league. I mean, I can't imagine what he's thinking about. He's there. He's got to go in and get the football. Just a great play by Sean Fleming.
Fleming has done it all already tonight. He's completed a pass and found the fumble in front of Chris Wright.
What a great effort.
Hey, you like that?
Yeah, we liked it.
We may have to call this guy a football player before it's all over with.
Be careful. He's a kicker. I shouldn't have said that, John. Sorry. Here's McManus, first down, touchdown toss, and he hit the defender in the back. Gordon was the intended receiver, and it's off Torrey Hunter. Robert Gordon seemed to have a little time in the end zone for a moment, but Hunter closed on him.
Well, Danny got caught looking the wrong direction here, and Robert Gordon is wide open early, and he's wide open for quite a while. You'll see Robert Gordon in the slot here. He's going to run the corner route. The defensive back just falls down. Danny gets flushed and is late throwing the ball and
hit him on the head.
Yeah, that's the best part of the anatomy to knock a ball down with.
2:21 to go till halftime. Eskimos have jumped on top. Facing 2nd and 10 here at the 22. Douglas Kraft made the tackle on Eddie Brown. Interesting spot here. I don't know if they've got the first down. Eskimos leading 17-6.
Well, Eddie Brown, he just dropped maybe the easiest ball maybe the year he's going to have thrown to him, and now he makes a really tough catch with a defensive back hanging on his back. Comes inside. Danny makes a good throw to the inside, and Eddie just makes the grab and sets him up for this 3rd and 1 play.
It's a short yard as Brown comes to the near side. The Eskimos looking at 3rd and inches here. McManus will throw, looking for the touchdown. He's got it. That's Willie Pless into the end zone to celebrate a touchdown, as the Eskimos are all over the Alouettes. They've used almost every trick in the book to get this one working tonight. 3rd and inches, play action fake. Willie Pless with a 12-yard touchdown reception.
Well, we all know what kind of athlete Willie Pless is, and Willie's normally a blocker, and he's run some in his career. This time he's going to be a blocker. Or this time he's going to be a pass receiver, slips out of the backfield and nobody runs with him. And that happens a lot. You see a defensive player come in on offense. Defensive players on the other team relax. They think, well, this is a defensive guy. They're going to give it to one of their offensive people. Pless has scored a number of touchdowns since they've got him in that goal line package.
12-yard touchdown. Fleming adds one more. Fleming a big part of the drive. First of all, Sean Fleming completing the pass on 3rd and 24 for an Edmonton first down, and then recovering after a 25-yard punt.
Well, this was all set up by this guy right here. That's Sean Fleming, and watch how far he has to go to recover this kick.
It wasn't a deep kick, about 25 yards, but he's under a full head of steam, isn't he?
It wasn't a 4.40, but he certainly got down there pretty quick.
That was the play that set up the chance for the touchdown.
Well, he's done it all already in this young season. He's throwing completions, recovering fumbles, running for first downs. Ron Lancaster said that his biggest worry about Fleming is that he won't run out of bounds when he takes off with the football, and he wants to try to find somebody to run over.
Out of Wyoming in his 7th CFL season, the first time he's been a place kicker and punter for the Edmonton Eskimos. Edmonton padding its lead to 24-6. And Chris Wright trying to atone for the miscue the last time he almost had his hands on the ball. He's out near the 35 and wrapped up by Patrice Denis, one of the new Eskimos from Quebec. Patrice Denis out of Western in his rookie season, a member of the '94 Vanier Cup team. And Tracy Ham tries to get things going for the Alouettes. I thought he started so well with 2 pretty good drives, but they settled for field goals.
Yeah, you need to punch those in, and it obviously took some air out of them because they haven't been able to get anything going, and Tracy needs to get back to doing the things they do well. Play action, get Pringle involved, throw to the slots.
Drop play, Mike Pringle, and it's well read by the Eskimos. Leroy Blue is in the middle of things there, along with Willie Pless.
There's a lot of time here. They got enough time to set up a drive.
1:49.
The last 3 minutes of a half in a game last forever. Derek Beatty back on the field, and that allows them to get Tommy Henry back to the linebacker position. He had slid out to half in place of Derek Beatty, and now Tommy's back playing that linebacker slot.
Ham and the Owls looking at 2nd and 7 from the shotgun. No time to get it away, but Ham does find a way to elude Blue, and again he gets away from Leroy Blue. He's out near first down territory at the 45. I thought Ham was wrapped up. Finally, Bruce Dixon gets to him, the middle linebacker.
Well, Tracy's the all-time leading rusher in the quarterback category. He and Damon Allen are having quite a battle in that category, but a lot of his runs are these kind. He's passing the football, things break down, and he's really a strong runner. Gets him close enough where Tracy can just fall forward maybe and get this first down for him.
McCready missed him initially. 3rd down and inches. And the Alouettes. Tracy himself. And that should be enough for this Montreal drive to continue. It'll be 1st and 10. Frustration for Dave Ritchie at Commonwealth Stadium, and it's creeping in here at his home ballpark in Montreal tonight.
Well, as poorly as things have gone for him here in the 2nd quarter, Tracy can really reverse that with a good drive here to end the half. I think they need to get into their no-huddle offense, though, now, and let Tracy start distributing the ball to his receivers. They're taking a lot of time off the clock and still only at their own 45.
That was Montreal's first down of the 2nd quarter. He faked it to Pringle, and now Ham throws. He had Wright slanting in over the middle. Great speed for Chris Wright. He's inside the 35. Bruce Dixon getting back to make the tackle.
Well, that's why I love play action. This is a great job of play acting. Watch Pringle step inside, go for the play action. It's a good fake. Willie Pless runs out of there with Michael Souls, and here comes Chris Wright underneath. And now it's a punt return, and he knows what to do on those when he has it in his hands.
29 seconds till halftime. Ham set up at the 35. Has to get out of the pocket. Fires for Pringle. Will be short of a first down. With 22 seconds to go, Willie Pless wrapped up Pringle that time.
Good job of Tracy dropping the ball off, keeping the drive going. Needs to get his people on the football and get this thing right away. George Black raised it ready to go.
Definitely in field goal range, but the Alouettes really want a touchdown here. Ham looks at 2nd and 2. Eskimos are coming now. Ham eluded. And now 3 seconds left on the clock, so they'll have to settle for a field goal try. Big charge that time.
Well, that's just poor clock management by Tracy Ham. He needed to get 2 or 3 plays off there to allow him to have a chance to get a touchdown. Now they're going to be forced into a field goal. But they had an opportunity, had 20 seconds left on the clock after Wright's reception or after Pringle's reception.
Absolutely.
And only got one playoff.
Terry Baker has been perfect so far tonight and accounted for all the Alouettes scoring thus far. This will be the final play of the opening half. Baker has it spotted at the 32, and he's good. Baker is 3 for 3, but the Alouettes have settled for field goals when touchdowns would have helped out an awful lot more. Eskimos with an exciting first half. The Alouettes still struggling a bit. CFL Live Control is where we're headed to join the boys on the panel.
Welcome back. CFL Live at the half. Rod Smith with Obi, Les, and Marty. And a second quarter that was reminiscent for the Alouettes of last week at Commonwealth Stadium when they were just blown out by the Eskimos. It was close for a while, but Obi, Edmonton pulling out all the wrinkles and everything was working in that quarter.
I think you got to give a lot of credit to the Edmonton coaching staff. They came up with 3 plays, the halfback pass, the 3rd and 1, they go for a play action, hit Willie Pless for a touchdown, and then they ran a fake punt pass, which got them a critical first down. So they obviously felt in a back-to-back game they had to do a few things differently because each team knew each other so well, and they definitely have had the upper hand in the second half. I've been impressed with Edmonton's approach to this game.
Bob, it's just like you to talk about the positive of the coaching staff. I mean, let's talk about the negative of the coaching staff on the other side. Montreal's offense has showed no imagination. Now, Jim Popp, the Montreal GM, popped off this week about the lack of offensive acumen being displayed in Montreal. He was critical of a guy named Charlie Taft, the offensive coordinator, who he hired. I guess you worked with him a little bit in spring training, preseason, didn't you?
In training camp, yeah.
Training camp.
Well, you know, Coach Taft is a guy that's coming right out of the U.S. college system, and his first CFL coaching job, offensive coordinator. I mean, he's a student of the game, but maybe that's not enough, you know, in the Canadian Football League, because you do have to have some kind of flair to your offense.
Yeah,
and, I would figure that Tracy would have put some kind of input into that, but he hasn't. What's really surprised me in this game is that Edmonton's offensive just dominating their secondary, the receivers, and Danny McManus is throwing the ball at will, and he's throwing it on timing, which means that the secondary is not getting good coverage, and there's no pressure on the quarterback whatsoever. He has time to look to 2 or 3 different receivers, and that's very impressive for them and shocking for a Dave Ritchie defense.
You know, one thing, though, going into this game, though, Les, the Montreal secondary had given up more yards against the pass than any team in the league, and maybe that's why.
Well, they better get together on something then.
Hey, guys, Montreal's offense hasn't scored a touchdown in 7 quarters now. And maybe they peaked too early this year. I don't know.
It's still a good Alouette team, but making some pretty bad mistakes early on. Case in point, Chris Wright. And you were saying before when that thing happened that it's not all Wright's fault in that case, talking about on the punt return and Fleming ends up recovering the football.
Well, I think in any special teams coach in this league, when the rule is that the punter can go down the field and recover the punt if it's short kicked, he should be blocked on every kick. They should have a man in his face on every kick, and that way the punt returner doesn't have to worry about looking up and then getting the ball and looking up and getting the ball. Well, that's not his fault.
Maybe not, but all I know is Chris Wright's had a lot of problems this year. He missed last season with the knee surgery, and he hasn't been able to give Montreal field position all season, and some of the players are complaining about him now. He's playing hurt, and if he's playing hurt, then I think they should get him out of the lineup because he isn't doing anything for that team.
Well, I don't know who's complaining about him, Marty, but you right now.
Stop Klein. I'm going to mention the name.
Oh, just throw it out.
One of his teammates.
Les is right about helping the return guy in that situation, but I'd like to give credit to the punter. Fleming made a heck of an effort to get down there and get that ball. A lot of punters don't even want to go that far to get a ball, but he made a great effort.
Yeah, one of the big plays for the Eskimos, mostly in that second quarter when they rallied from a 6-3 deficit to take a commanding 24-6 lead. So among these 2 first-place teams, this is all Eskimos. When we come back, we'll preview the other match tonight of our doubleheader and 2 other first-place teams, Argos and Lions. CFL Live returns after this.
CFL Legends, brought to you by Advantage, providing solutions for business.
He was one of the most dominant defensive players of his time. More on Dave Fennell in a moment. For 10 seasons, he was the heart and soul of a great Edmonton defense. Dr. Death helped lead the Eskimos to 5 consecutive Grey Cup wins between 78 and 82, and played on a total of 6 Grey Cup champions. A CFL All-Star tackle from 1977 to 81, Fennell was voted the league's most outstanding defensive player in 1979. In 1982, Fennell was voted the Grey Cup's most outstanding Canadian and defensive player. And you can see more on Dave Fennell and other CFL legends at the Canadian Football Hall of Fame in Hamilton. Here are the CFL Players of the Week for Week 4, and you can't forget what Alfred Jackson did to the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. The Lions receiver had a number of catches, a total of 266 yards, and figured in on all 3 of the Lions' touchdowns, really. He scored 2 of them. Reggie Givens for the Argos defensive player, and Dwayne Patterson, impressive on the Calgary defensive front, the lineman of the week. Well, next week, it is, I should say, later on tonight, the Toronto Argonauts. I'm getting ahead of myself, aren't I, Coach? The Argos and the BC Lions, and that is game 2 of our doubleheader. And yes, both teams at 3-1, both coming off victories. And for a preview of this one, we head to BC Place now and join the guys who will call the game for us, Gord Miller and Glenn Suter.
Well, Rod, like the first game of our doubleheader, game number 2 features 2 3-1 teams, the BC Lions and the Toronto Argonauts. And while the Argos have won 3 of their first 4, they've been frustrated offensively in their last 3 games. Take away 2 guys, Mike Clemens and Robert Drummond, and that's half of Doug Flutie's completions in the last 3 weeks. And Glenn, over that period of time, Hamilton and Saskatchewan have shown the other teams in the league that it may be possible to stop number 2.
Yeah, and the way they're doing it, Gord, is to squeeze the field on Doug Flutie and make him throw the ball to the wide side of the field, make the long throw. Here's how it works. The halfback and safety have deep coverage. Everyone else is underneath. Linebackers take their normal zone drops, and the halfback to the field drops inside the hash mark. Now, from this hash mark to the short side sideline, there's 8 people in coverage. That forces Flutie to throw it to the wide field, and from that circle to where the ball is right now is about 60 yards.
And when you look at the 3 guys rushing, they've got a job to do as well.
They certainly do. They have to keep contained and controlled rush. You see Flutie has no chance to run, and he has to throw to the ball outside, and obviously, from that play, it's not working for Toronto.
That was a defensive play that worked to perfection, but the Toronto Argonauts have more than their share of weapons. How do they combat teams trying to make Doug Flutie throw the ball long?
Well, I think they do it 2 ways. First of all, they run the ball more to Robert Drummond. When you only have 3 men on the line of scrimmage, you can run the ball successfully. That's one way. The other way is to spread the field. The wide receivers for Toronto have to line up on sideline to sideline and make BC cover the whole field.
Doug Flutie enters this week as the number 2 ranked passer in the CFL. The number 1 ranked passer is Damon Allen of the BC Lions. Rod?
Looking forward to it, Gord, coming up after this football game. And Marty, the talk about this before, and it's also something Doug Flutie really doesn't want to deal with anymore, but the whole hype, Dave Chaters hasn't really let it go after the allegations last season, but Chaters not in the lineup for BC tonight.
Yeah, he's got the strained quadriceps. His teammates say they'll make up for him, but I remember talking to Chaters in the first week of training camp, and he said he just couldn't wait to get his hands on Flutie in this game. He's not going to be able to do it, but I still think you're going to see a very entertaining game. I think it's going to be high scoring, too.
Well, I don't know about all that high-scoring stuff, but I think it'll be an entertaining game. These defenses have Toronto's have really impressed me all season long, and I think BC's defense is starting to come on and impress people as well.
Well, I think the other thing that's going to be interesting in this game is Toronto's had a decided advantage preparing for this game. They've had much more rest, a longer week to prepare. BC's coming off a real short week because they just played last Saturday, so it's going to be tougher.
I want to say one thing about what they're trying to say, squeezing the field on Doug Flutie. Now, it's been 3 weeks, I think, that we've probably seen defenses do this to him. This man is a student of the game. He's going to try to figure this out, and it's not going to work all the time. And I'm pretty sure this game tonight, the second game tonight, you'll see Doug Flutie come up with an answer to this squeeze that they've been putting on.
And if he does, more pressure on Damon Allen to put some points up on the board for BC. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Lions, they won the game and everything else, but they didn't show an awful lot offensively other than the guy who got it done, Alfred Jackson. Would you be a little bit concerned as Lions coach?
Hey, I'll tell you what, they're definitely concerned. If it wasn't for Alfred Jackson, they had no offense in that game. And when you look at all the weapons they have, it's interesting that Damon hasn't been able to get everyone involved. But once again, they're still getting used to each other. And I think the fact that they're playing against the Argos will get them a little pumped up for this game.
And I don't think you'll see the Toronto defense playing the kind of defense that Winnipeg was playing, that zero coverage, when they had 2 defensive backs hurt, and they had one guy filling in the defensive back who had really never played there, and they were still in the zero coverage on the last touchdown that Alfred Jackson caught and went for 6. But anyway, if they do, they can always double him and make the other guys beat you.
Yeah, but what impresses me about the BC guys is if Alfred Jackson is double covered, there's other weapons, like you just said. There's Trevathan. I expect to see him have a good game tonight. Don't forget, Philpott is still on that team. I mean, we haven't seen him do much yet, but I suspect he'll come out with a big game tonight, too.
Corey Philpott, injured in the last game, but still, even though he's hurting, expected to play in such a big game for both teams. Hey, that's just halfway through Week 5 of the CFL, and we've got every game for you. Tomorrow, it's Friday Night Football, and once again, we got the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Big game for Don Southern, of course, and the rest of the 0-4 Cats against Winnipeg, and Earl Winfield making his return for the Cats. And we've also got CFL Live on Saturday, and the rematch between the Calgary Stampeders and the Saskatchewan Roughriders. This time, it's in Saskatchewan country and looking for revenge. 3 p.m. Eastern, we have that one. CFL Live returns after this. Active here at TSN, here's an update of your QB1 standings through the half. Well, the half was really a story of 2 games. First quarter, Montreal looked impressive, but Edmonton pulled out all the stops in the second quarter for a big 24-6 lead. Let's head back to Olympic Stadium. John Wells and David Archer.
Ron, I thought some goofy plays by the Eskimos. I'm still wondering about the kicker pass. 3rd down and 24. Fleming makes it work.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether that was a called play or whether Fleming just saw something, but we've got linebackers catching touchdowns. We got halfbacks throwing touchdowns, but after the opening drive, Edmonton took over the ball game.
Really, the numbers are fairly close in a lot of categories, but the Eskimos have a distinct advantage on the scoreboard. Time of possession, fairly close. Well, it's halftime at Olympic Stadium in Montreal, and the Eskimos appear headed to another convincing victory. Well, there's a long way to go, and some young Alouette fans are having a good time. Sports break coming up next.
Well, it's Danny's day so far. 10 of 20 for 122 yards. Tracy Ham had an excellent drive. First time he had his hands on the football, but things fizzled for the Montreal offense after that. Alouettes need a little more intensity to get rolling in the second half, perhaps on special teams as well as offensively.
Yeah, Coach Fawcett's got to be a little discouraged, the special teams coach, with some of the breakdowns. Their mental breakdowns is what's hurting them.
Second half underway. Chris Wright at the 15. Nice return for Wright as he's out across the 40 to about the 43, wrapped up by Trent Brown. So what does Tracy Ham have to do here to get these Alouettes reignited?
Well, I'd like to see Tracy take control of the offense now and start doing some of the things that he's done over the last couple of years to make this offense successful. Get Pringle obviously involved, but do some more play action. He's a good play action quarterback. And now get Climby and Armstrong. I don't even think we've been able to say their name much tonight. Get Climby and Armstrong involved in the attack. Maybe go to some no huddle. Change the tempo of the game a little bit.
Alouettes begin at the 43-yard line. They're down 24-9. The second half is underway in Montreal. Nice run for Mike Pringle. He broke a couple, and he's got plenty for the first down. Close to 17 yards on that run. Pringle tries to get the fans involved a little bit here.
This is great blocking up front. Great block there on Dixon. And Pringle puts the hammer on Trent Brown, and he's still down. I believe they may have knocked him out on that play. He looked like he didn't move after the hit. I think he took a knee maybe in the helmet.
On the topic of injuries, the Alouettes suffered one that might be rather serious. Let's bring in Michael Whalen.
Well, listen, John, bad news for the Montreal Alouettes. They've lost Mark Dixon for the rest of this game and for 4 to 6 weeks. He has an MCL. That's a torn medial lateral ligament. I always have trouble getting that out. That's the second time in 2 weeks that the Alouettes have lost an offensive lineman. Brian Shue also has an MCL, so it's pretty bad news for them.
And they were really looking forward to getting Mark Dixon back in the lineup as the Eskimo physicians take care of Trent Brown, who is rather seriously injured down there on the field right now. I don't know if we can see it on this replay or not, David.
Well, Trent's going to stick his head in here, and you see the head dip, and that makes him a little vulnerable to the knees of Mike Pringle, who's a high runner, and don't want to speculate on what the injury is. He's a big-time player, loves to come up and hit. Made a lot of plays for this defense. Directs the secondary, which is a job because there's a lot of veterans back there.
I thought when Pringle had his helmet off and was making those motions down there, he was trying to get the fans excited about his run, but he was calling for the medical staff, obviously. So a rather serious injury situation for the Edmonton Eskimos. Trent Brown. And we'll take a brief timeout from Olympic Stadium just nicely into the third quarter with the Eskimos on top on CFL Live 24-9. Check out Friday Night Football. It'll be
Mike Colley at the controls for the Hamilton Tiger Cats against the Blue Bombers. We're on an early flight tomorrow. Landing in Winnipeg early in the morning. We'll be with you tomorrow night, 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Ticats Bombers on this week's Friday Night Football. Things a little more serious at Olympic Stadium in Montreal. Medical staff still attending to Eskimo safety Trent Brown, who was in collision with Mike Pringle.
Well, John, my experience with these things are that a lot of times they take all the precautions necessary to make sure they immobilize the neck, and now Trent's up. I think he just got his bell rung there. And obviously Mike Pringle concerned about Trent. A lot of times you see all those people around him, they're trying to hold him down, because the first thing when you get knocked out, what you want to do is get up. You don't want to be laying on your back, and I think Trent wanted to get up. That's why a lot of the people were around him. He's a tough kid, and I know all the people that family members and things back home in Edmonton for Trent. Trent's okay. That's a tough individual right there. He'll be fine.
Talked about Pringle. He was the first to call for the medical staff when he knew that Brown was knocked out. But it was a big gain for Pringle on the previous play at his first down for the Alouettes. Nice fake to Pringle by Tracy Ham. Ham rolling. He had rights, and he dropped the football. The dropsies from last week have returned.
Boy, I know exactly what Tracy's going through right now. He's thinking, okay, I've got a young receiver here that's dropped a few balls. This is his first year to play full-time receiver. There you see Trent. He's just trying to rub off the wooziness. I don't know that we'll see him the rest of the game. A lot of times you like to keep a guy out of the game with a concussion, but getting back to Tracy, all you can do is just encourage him, because a young guy like that, you don't want him to go in the tank on you if he's dropped a few.
Chris Hardy is in at safety, seeing his first real action in the Canadian Football League, although he got a 24-yard pass from Sean Fleming for a big first down earlier. Ham looking for Nigel Williams, I do believe, but there was a mix-up between quarterback and receiver. Nigel Williams wearing 88s. Got a big pass in the early going of this football game.
Yeah, I think we saw a little bit of a discouraged look on Tracy Ham's face. He just can't seem to find a guy and make a play for him. When a quarterback is struggling a little bit to get something going, he's looking for somebody to step up and make a play. Pringle's really been the only guy to make something happen offensively.
Terry Baker on third down, Montreal. High and deep. Henry Williams. Got a block there, and no penalty markers down as the Giz scoots up the sidelines and is forced out near the 35 by Terry Baker. Always exciting when Giz gets his hands on the ball, and the kicker also gets involved in the upfield tackling duties.
Well, Giz just ran about 200 yards for this return. Don Blair comes back and makes the key block, just a touch block right there. And Giz turns on the Jets. Giz can still run. People don't think Giz can run anymore, but he can still turn it on.
He is Mr. All-Purpose. Pretty amazing average when you look at that. 128 yards per game through 11 years. First down, McManus for Eddie Brown. Brown chased down by Alfred Payton.
Eddie Brown again just on a hitch route. And when they start playing off, you start dumping the ball off underneath to Eddie Brown. And that's a dangerous situation for a corner when Eddie Brown catches the ball and got a little room to run. You know, going back to Giz, he's 6th right now in the CFL in all-purpose yards. So people thought Giz's career was winding down. He's still getting it done.
And most of that is special teams. He doesn't see an awful lot of a football offensively. Eric Bluntz on first down. He's got about 4. Doug Peterson, number 94, made the tackle. He's really a big part of the key to success for that Montreal defensive line. Later tonight, second half of our Thursday night doubleheader on TSN. Flutie and the Argos against the BC Lions. That should be a pretty good matchup.
A little bit of bad blood between those two from last year.
I think so. 2nd and 8. McManus has a target open. It's Bluntz. And he fights for extra yardage, close to a first down, and finally wrapped up by Tracy Gravely.
You know, Dave Ritchie the thing he's going to look at when he sees this film is he's going to look at the missed tackles and the missed opportunities to bring people down. And Eric Blunt makes Nash miss on this play. This is just a zone throw by McManus, and watch him make Nash miss. It's kind of hard to say.
It is difficult. We'll not try that line again.
But they've missed several tackles. But they did rally to the football and keep them short of the first down.
On 3rd and 1, the Eskimos will kick it away. John Fleming has provided some interesting stories tonight. Completed a pass for a 24-yard first down, recovered his own punts right in front of this guy, Chris Wright, to set up the Eskimos' last touchdown. This time he punts it away from Wright. It hit an Eskimo in the back, hit Chris Hardy on its way down. So there are flags down. We'll sort out the problems on the field at Olympic Stadium, where the Eskimos continue to dominate Dave Ritchie's Montreal Alouettes. It's 24-9.
John, the story on Trent Brown is that he suffered a concussion in that collision with Mike Pringle. He seems to be all right. The doctors are saying that he's coming around, and they wanted me to specifically tell his wife, Christy, who's watching this game on TSN tonight, that he's all right, but he won't be back for the rest of the game.
Well, certainly good news, because there was a big gathering around Trent Brown right after the hit.
I'm all right. Christy back home. Are you on right now? You on?
Yes, we are, Trent.
Thumbs up, baby. Everything's all right.
Well, there's good news for Christy. You heard from Trent.
There you go. That's a tough guy right there. I'll tell you, you know, Michael Whalen, he's been on both sidelines. He's getting more work than most of the guys on the field are getting right now.
Busy guy covering the stories at field level. Tracy Ham and the Alouettes. 1st and 10. Near the 25. Ham, time to throw. He's on target. Dropped again. Chris Armstrong couldn't hang on. That's a couple for him tonight. And he hasn't made one reception.
Well, Chris Armstrong is right there, and he's a go-to guy in this offense. Just going to run an inside route on Derek Beatty, and this is a perfectly thrown football, and Chris dropped a few last week. I tell you what starts happening now is it gets infectious, but what Dave Ritchie starts doing is he starts looking the wire to try to find some receivers that are going to catch it for Tracy.
Well, he's got Dennis Montana in there now looking for someone who can hang on. Ham on 2nd down. Far side. Nigel Williams does make the catch there. Stayed in bounds, has a first down for the Alouettes.
What a beautiful throw by Tracy Ham on the dead run to his left. And he throws about a 30-yard strike to Nigel Williams. Nigel runs a great comeback route. He's at the top of your screen. Right there's Nigel Williams. Now watch Tracy roll to his left. And he's actually going to have a defender. Look like Willie Pless getting his face, but look where this ball is. Bang.
Couple of clutch catches for Nigel Williams. 14 yards there, 2 for 29 on the night. The Alouettes really needed that. Here's Mike Pringle, and there's absolutely nowhere to go. Leroy Blue, outstanding game last week with 3 sacks. Pringle that time.
But you got to keep pumping Michael in there. He's such a big part of this offense, but I'd like to see Tracy go to some play action pass off of Mike. Watch Leroy Blue close it down. Look at him squeeze the defender down into the play. He actually pushed Neil Fort into the play. Neil Fort about 310 pounds. He shoved Neil Fort right in the hole and closed it.
Limited the gain to a yard. 2nd and 9. Ham far side, and he's liking the way that Williams is hanging out of the football. But how about Malcolm Frank with the tackle there? Well, he another teammate of yours?
He had a double. Who is that?
Malcolm Frank.
Malcolm is another teammate of mine. He had a double screen on there, and could either throw to Mike Pringle down below. Watch Pringle release down below with the lineman in front. He decides to go to Nigel Williams up top, and Chris Armstrong, who missed the ball earlier in this drive, doesn't get his block and nullifies that play. So Chris better get things together over there.
Baker punting again. The charge is on. They get the block, and the Eskimos recover.
Mark Tolbert.
Tolbert came through to get the block. And that's a happy guy down there.
Well, Tolbert's untouched on this play, and the calamity of errors on special teams continue for the Owls. Mark Tolbert is going to be right there. Watch him come right off the corner, and he's untouched. Runs right by the up back, and that's clean.
He almost recovered it himself.
Derek Beatty recovered the kick there.
Eskimos set up at the 35. Here's McManus going to work. Missed his target near side that time. Eddie Brown.
I think Danny expected Eddie to go back outside. He came inside, and he expected him to release back out, and the ball's thrown a little short. See, he's looking for him to get back outside for him, and that's where he threw the football, and Eddie didn't go there for him. Little miscommunication on reading what's happening coverage-wise between the receiver and the quarterback. But, of course, the quarterback in that case is John.
Always right.
Yeah.
I knew that.
Yeah.
2nd and 10, Edmonton. Montreal 36. Eskimos leading 24-9. McManus all day, and he has Robert Gordon down to the 15. Irvin Smith was covering.
Well, they just continue to give you different formations and get people involved. This time everybody's left except Robert Gordon. Robert's going to run the post, and Danny throws a good throw over the top of Paul Randolph there, and Irvin can't get there in time. Irvin Smith can't get there in time to make the play. He caught 7 last week for 122. Boy, who do you defend on this team?
Well, it's difficult. We talked about this receiving corps. Harry Quant trying to turn the corner. Slowed down and then wrapped up by Doug Peterson.
You know, I think Danny just runs the ball tokenly just to keep the running backs involved in the game because he wants to throw it to these fine receivers. He's got such a core of receivers. This is a great job by the front group. See Swift Birch making it turn back inside. Peterson flowing to the football from the nose tackle spot. Gang tackling. Good job of stopping the run. This defense is #1 in the league against the run. Montreal, they just give too much up throwing the football. 291 yards in the air.
McManus on 2nd and 10. He got it away somehow, and he has the touchdown. Darren Flutie in front of Harold Nash. And I thought they had him wrapped up, Danny McManus, but he found a way.
Well, whenever you have this much time as a quarterback and you're playing man coverage in the secondary, it's tough on the defensive backs to hold their people. You got to get this guy to the ground if you're a defensive lineman. They're just playing man free, meaning there's a free safety in the middle of the field, but McManus makes a great throw. And Nash is going to be very excited when Darren Flutie gets on the plane and gets out of town.
Thought he might have saved that football. It's his 500th CFL receiving touchdown.
Le converti a réussi par Happy birthday, Rodson. Happy birthday.
It's a 500 receptions in the CFL.
Rory, too tall. He's about that tall in the 3rd grade.
500 touchdowns would be a little much, wouldn't it?
David Archie, that picture's for you too, David Archie.
Tommy Henry in there. Here, see if we can find Darren Flutie. Darren Flutie's going to line up in the backfield. There's Darren right there. Now watch what Darren does. He's just going to slip through man coverage and head to the far side of the field. Nash is playing inside technique, just lets him, or outside technique, just lets him run across the field. And again, McManus had a lot of time. And watch Danny looks left, floats, slides up in the pocket. This is a guy that's not a scrambler, but knows how to buy himself some time in the pocket. Swift Birch was there just a little too late.
51 career touchdowns now for Darren Flutie. Got one from a running back tonight.
Well, you can always bank on the fact that if Danny gets in trouble, that's the guy he's going to look for. Those two guys have a chemistry that you don't find too often. And those are fun ones. I've had a few receivers in my day, but Darren Flutie's one of the best that's ever played in this league.
Short kick, and Montana just lets it dribble out in front of him. More penalty markers down. It started so well for Dave Ritchie, didn't it? 3 straight wins.
Yeah, it really did. They've fallen on hard times, and it's been Edmonton's fault both times here. But, I mean, this game is far from over. Got a lot of time to play here. And Tracy's a tremendous competitor. Tracy Ham and
illegal kickoff. Edmonton number 11. Penalty is declined. First down.
Dave Ritchie's always got some tricks up his sleeve on defense. I know they haven't played to his level of expectation, but this number 8 right here that's going to take control of the football can get some things done.
Alouettes on first down. Pringle gets the call, and he has about 5 yards out to the 50, wrapped up by Mike Sellers, who's been mentioned a time or two tonight. Sellers listed as a backup, but gets into the ball game as the Eskimos spell off their front four.
They do a great job at that, too. Now Tracy's going to go to a no-huddle operation. This is what I was hoping he'd do. Now he's going to shift gears and change the tempo of the game. What this does is locks the defense in only certain calls that they can get to.
2nd and 4. And will take off himself. He hasn't done it a whole bunch tonight. Out near the 55. Wrapped up by Sellers again. And that'll be enough for an Alouette first down.
Another thing this does is it doesn't allow Edmonton to roll their defenders. You see Mike Sellers, he's in spelling Leroy blue. They like to roll their people in and out. And this will wear them out. And this guy right here running around with the football will wear you out quick.
First down. Alouettes right on midfield. They've got a long way to go to catch up. Nice play action fake. And Ham is up and out of bounds. Forced out by Malcolm Frank.
That's a straight bootleg for Tracy Ham, and Glenn Rogers is going to come on a blitz off the weak side, which is the position he plays, weak side half, and Tracy's going to fake him along with everybody else out. There you see Glenn get caught inside, and that's Glenn's responsibility is contain over there, and Tracy breaks it for a first down. See, this no-huddle thing has got something going for him now. It's changed the tempo of the game, gives him a little rhythm on offense.
Interesting story on first downs. Another one for the Alouettes. This time Pringle takes it and tries to turn the corner. He's upended. Kavis Reed, number 24, took the feet out from under Mike Pringle that time.
Well, this is a great job of the defense stringing the play out. You see Mike Sellers at the top. He's going to crash down inside and take OKK off the play, but watch Pless. Now here comes.
Penalty is declined. 2nd down.
Here comes Kavis Reed. Kavis Reed comes up and finishes it. Here, watch Kavis come in and chop the pins. That's what they call him. Chops his pins right out from underneath him, and if you don't have any legs, you don't get downfield too quick.
The holding penalty against Michael Souls makes this 2nd and 10. Shotgun. Releases to the far side. Nice run by Nigel Williams. Chris Hardy got over to force him out.
Well, they've run this play twice. The last series they ended it with, they got nothing. They got no gain. This is a screen to the outside receiver, Nigel Williams. He's right up here looking for the people underneath the block for him. Looking for his receivers to block. There's Climby and Armstrong going to block. This time Armstrong gets Malcolm Frank wrapped up, and then Nigel does a great job of running with the football. You see Climby getting a block downfield.
Good story tonight. 27 there for Nigel Williams. 4 receptions, 56 yards for him tonight. Pringle again. Got by Benny Goods. Stopped by Willie Pless.
Well, Mike Pringle is the key to this whole thing. They know defensively that they have to stay at home to stop Mike Pringle, which allows everybody else to get involved. Now Tracy's starting. Now they went back to the huddle here, but Tracy was really distributing the ball out of the no huddle.
Couple for Pringle. This is 2nd and 8. Alouettes really have to get to the end zone here.
Changing plays on the line.
Gets the touchdown. Dennis Montana.
What a spectacular offensive play here by Tracy Ham. Total athletic play. Changed the play at the line of scrimmage because he saw man across the board. Bump and run coverage. Wanted to get a throw to the strong side of the field. Nothing there, so Ham uses his athletic ability, which he's done out throughout his career. Watch Tracy look to the wide side of the field here. He wanted something out there, nothing there, nothing. Now he's going to float. Now watch this play.
Montana actually caught it twice, making sure down there. Baker adds the extra point. There's a little life in the Montreal Alouettes. Tracy Ham made it happen. Back up, wide receiver Dennis Montana finds the end zone. A little life in the Alouettes after all. Tracy Ham engineered the touchdown drive. Dennis Montana got to the end zone for his second CFL touchdown. First of this season. He had one in the playoffs against Hamilton last year.
Now he gets to run down on a kickoff and cover a kickoff. Always contributing.
Baker is under it. Big is Henry Williams beginning about the 15. Well covered. That's John Kalin leading the Alouette tacklers. One more look at a big play for Montreal.
Well, Ham's just looking. We saw you look at strong side, and then Montana didn't really know where to block for Tracy or release and catch the ball, and he made the right decision.
Making sure he had the football here. Watch the catch. Oh.
Big pressure from Malvin Hunter, but that's the thing. Those are the things Tracy makes happen. He and maybe Flutie and Damon Allen are the only guys that do those kind of things.
Eskimos will try and respond beginning at the 25. Couple of yards on the run for Eric Blunt. Here's Michael Whalen.
Well, John, if you might have looked at the Alouette bench, you see that Chris Wright is on the sidelines. He dropped two key passes. One of those hitch passes that Trevor Williams made a good gain on in that last drive, and that opened the door for Denny Montana. That's how he got into the game, and the local boy from Concordia University did all right.
Certainly did. Born in St. Jean, Quebec, into his second year in the CFL. This is second down Edmonton. Eddie Brown, big catch out at the 50-yard line. Douglas Kraft was covering.
That's a great throw by McManus. He checks to see if the weak side halfback is going to get enough depth to take that throw away. He doesn't. Kraft playing off and outside. McManus sticks it on Eddie Brown.
5 for 63, 23 on that previous play for Eddie Brown. Over 1,300 yards, 7 touchdowns, and all-Canadian status for Brown in 1996. Whoa! Tony Burrs couldn't hang on. Turn to run.
Yeah, that's something you don't see from Tony either. He's a good pass receiver, and he likes to catch the football. He's going to come out of the backfield right there to the right of your screen, slip into flat. Good throw. Tony just couldn't hang on.
Bad news continues for the Alouettes. Mark Dixon just got back into the lineup after missing 3 games. He's going to be out at least 4 weeks with a knee problem. Second and 10 Edmonton. McManus, receiver open far side. That's Don Blair.
These are the kind of throws that Danny McManus, I think, has really grown into over the last couple of years. He used to try to force the football over the middle. But now Danny sees zone. He's finding where the soft corner is, the corner that's off. And here he sticks it way out wide. He finds that there's room out there, and then Don Blair, little second effort, going to muscle and try to get him the first down. But he's finding the little open areas now. I think he's gotten away from really trying to push the ball in the middle of the field all the time.
He limped after making the catch, and now Don Blair is down. Coming into the game, 5 receptions, 103 yards. Last week, a couple for 25. And see what he did here. All of a sudden, did he grab his hamstring there?
Well, he's going to try to walk it off. So let's see. Well, I don't think I can walk this one off. Little thigh bruise, probably a little shot in the thigh. Looks like they're rubbing the hamstring a little bit.
Game 1 of a Thursday night doubleheader. Following this, Toronto and British Columbia. Lancaster had a great second half, or second quarter, I should say, in his Eskimos. Who do you like in this one?
I think that's a tough call. I'll be interested to see when Doug Flutie and Dave Chaters tie horns for the first time.
Now, Chaters may not play tonight. I thought I heard a quick report on that just at halftime. The Chaters was a scratch tonight, so that'll get rid of some of that hype.
That's going to kill him.
And tomorrow night, it's Friday Night Football live from the stadium in Winnipeg. Blue Bombers and the Tiger Cats. Don Southern still under terrific pressure for the Tiger Cats' slow start, and it doesn't get any better for Southern. He doesn't have his #1 quarterback, Anthony Calvillo, in the lineup tomorrow night.
Yeah, Sudsy's going to have to play the young guy, and I think the young guy's made some strides. Mike Colley, I thought he did a great job in Toronto last week when he got a chance to play. Punched in made his first touchdown throw, and he's getting better. I think he's got a chance to be a better player in this league.
Silbert moves in for Don Blair. This is Robert Gordon, a bit of an end around. You might as well go down, Robert. You're surrounded.
Well, what he should have done was pitch the ball to Tony Burst, because Tony was a spectator on the play. He decided not to block anybody. They had a little reverse on to Robert Gordon, and good upfield pressure by Swift Burst. But watch Tony. Hey, Tony, go get somebody. Tony ended up being a spectator there, didn't hit anybody, and subsequently Robert snowed under.
Swift Birch, big part of that play, forcing the Eskimos into 2nd and 14 out near midfield. McManus, target over the middle. It's Eddie Brown. Flipped it out to Flutie, and they'll get a first down. Then it comes loose, and the Alouettes say they have it. First down, Montreal. Still a fun play to watch. Harold Nash was involved. I think Irv Smith comes up with a recovery.
Well, this certainly isn't by design. McManus comes straight back. He's going to float by himself some time. You see Eddie Brown come in your picture right now. Because he sees Flutie there, just gives him the football.
Away from Gravely. Nash forced it loose. Irv Smith comes up with it.
Well, this is what this defense needed, is they needed to rake out the football and create something for their offense, because they'd had a good drive earlier.
First down for the Alouettes. Ham behind the intended target, which was Mike Pringle, and Ham blames himself for that one. You can always tell when the quarterback is blaming himself from up here. He smiles.
Yeah, he smiles, and Mike points to himself very occasionally. But it's a nationally televised game, never points to himself.
Where the quarterback is angry, you can tell.
Yeah, no question about it. Tracy going to stay in the no huddle. He was probably lucky that was thrown low, because Willie Pless was really tracking Pringle.
2nd and 10, Alouettes after the turnover at the 27. Shotgun for Ham. Rolling right. And a good defensive play by Kevis Reed on Nigel Williams, but there's a marker down in the backfield. Spot a little late hit there.
I think Tracy took a late shot on this play.
Major foul, roughing the passer, Edmonton #40. First down.
And Tracy's is feeling the ill effects of this hit, too. Left shoulder bothering him a little bit.
Benny Goods, #40.
Yeah, no question. No question about it. Tracy was sprawled out there. You got to protect the quarterback in that situation.
He's 13 penalties in this one.
He'll hang in there, though.
Quarterbacks are tough, aren't they?
Yeah, they're probably one of the tougher guys on the field, actually.
They really have to be a lot of the time. I'm not being that facetious. Here's Pringle. What a great run by Mike Pringle, who is running with much more authority in this one. Willie Pless was the guy to finally get over and drag him down.
Well, this offensive line, when they're together, pride themselves in being some of the best. You see Neil Fort kind of grab Leroy Blue and throw him out of the way. Good block by Jock Kleine downfield. Nigel Williams is having a big night on Kevis Reed. It's infectious. Everybody gets involved, starts blocking downfield. Pringle running clean.
Closing in on 100. That was a 20-yard gain for Pringle. Ham puts it up. High toss, but it's brought down. Jock Kleine hasn't caught one for a while. Should be the final play of quarter #3. The Alouettes 15 points in arrears to the Edmonton Eskimos on the CFL Live first half of the Thursday doubleheader. Let's go back to CFL Live control.
Welcome back. CFL Live at the Quarter. Rod Smith along with Obi, Les, and Marty. And yes, the Alouette offense is getting it going a bit, but defensively, the way Edmonton's been moving that football, Marty, still some big concerns. I think that Alouette defense does need some help.
Yeah, you're right, Rod, and I think they might have an opportunity to get some help. Grant Carter, who played very well as defensive end for Montreal last year, could become available soon. He's struggling at the San Diego training camp in the NFL. He could be available. He's let people know that he's interested in returning to Montreal. Then there's Tommy Europe, who is a very good safety with BC. He may be available soon. He's trying out with New Orleans, but he's on the bubble there, and he's expressed interest in going to Montreal as well.
Well, as a coach, it's interesting points in the Alouettes. I'm sure you'd all agree right now. Any bit of help that they can get, especially against Edmonton tonight, although it'll be a little too late for that. There's certain things, Les, and you know that coaching staff with Montreal well, that are confusing you a bit, both offensively and defensively in this game.
Well, offensively, what's confusing me is when you're down by 22 points, why are you consistently running the ball on first down? And I understand David Archer has mentioned several times that Mike Pringle is their key. Well, everybody knows he's their key, and everybody's going to key on him on first down to run the ball. Run some play action, open it up a bit. But defensively, they're playing against a quarterback who cannot scramble, and they're not putting any pressure on him at all. Yeah. They're rushing 3 people like they play against Doug Flutie, and I don't understand that
whatsoever. They need Grant Carter.
Well, the only thing that's going to help Montreal right now is if Edmonton happens to fold it up in the fourth quarter, and they've played so well up to this point. I think this is time for Marty to make his prediction.
Yeah, right. Really. Come on, Marty.
This is my nightly third-quarter comeback prediction. Okay, I'll say it. Montreal comes back. It's what the heck. You've asked me to say it, I'll say it.
No sweat off his back.
Well, the concern may not be so much stopping Montreal, but stopping Edmonton. The Eskimos' offense looking awfully good, and 31-16 lead. Heading to the fourth quarter, we head back to the Big O now.
And after 3 quarters, it's even just about everywhere when you look at the numbers, except on the scoreboard. 300 yards net for the Owls, 282 for the Eskimos. Time of possession is within about 30 seconds or so. And Ham has a fire into these Alouettes right now, but he's down by 15 points. Fourth quarter begins. 2nd and 4 Alouettes at the Eskimo 41. Pringle. And that was Willie Boy again, 39, Willie Pless.
Well, there's two good football players hitting head-to-head right there. Willie Pless and Mike Pringle. Ham changed the play at the line of scrimmage. It was a conversion situation, meaning 2nd and about 5 or 6 yards, needed the first down. And Ham changed the play and thought he saw a crease that Pringle could get the first down for him. And Willie Pless, who's roamed the field for many years, all-time leading tackler in CFL history, makes the play.
Well, the fans are not excited about this call, but Baker is in on 3rd and a long 2, maybe 3 yards. Baker has been good on 3 of 3 thus far. You might as well take the points when you can get them. You're 15 points down, so you need to score 3 times.
I agree. I agree with you. I think that this would be a letdown to the offense that's come alive if they didn't come away with some points here.
Baker will have it spotted at the 47. Miscue, bad snap. Marvin Graves has to go back and come on. They land on the football.
Now it's definitely
a bad snap, or did Graves misplay it?
No, it goes right through Graves' hands, but I tell you, Scott Fawcett, the special teams coach, is just going to have a nightmare year, or a nightmare day tomorrow looking at these films. Snaps a little wide. Graves couldn't handle it. And then it looked like nobody really wanted it.
So it's still 15 points. The difference between the Eskimos and the Alouettes. Closer look. Well, maybe a little off. How much Graves could do with it. First down, Edmonton. And the Eskimos keep it on the ground.
And Marvin's defense there, I've held for many years, and the toughest hold is the one you have to reach across and grab. And that was because you can't really come out of your crouch, because then you're going to take away the kicker's sight line. And
so you really have to reach for the ball and bring it back in.
That snap just wasn't where it needed to be, obviously.
Blunt for about 4. We'll make it 3. 2nd and 7. Got a little heat, and Eddie Brown goes up and makes a great catch in front of Douglas Kraft.
I'll tell you what, Eddie's had one of those nights.
Edmonton.
That he's dropped a couple easy, or dropped one easy one, but he has made a couple of super grabs, and he climbs the ladder to catch this one.
23 yards for Eddie Brown right here.
Eddie going to run the post versus man coverage. He had Flutie in the flat open, and a nice throw with it looked like Elfrid Payton in his face. That's what made the throw high, and Eddie bailed him out, climbed the ladder, and made the catch over Douglas Kraft.
Kraft slightly shaken up, but stays in there. Eskimos now at the Alouettes 25, first down. Eric Blunt again, and the Eskimos would really like to take something away from that Montreal offense here and even come away with 3 points.
This would be a... We got a little extracurricular. This happens in the defense when things start to deteriorate a little bit for you as you get a little bit rough under the collar. But really mixing things. Danny's mixing things really well. This will really take the air out of them. They punch this in, John. I agree with you. And even if they get 3, this will take a lot of wind from them.
Eskimos staring at 2nd and 5. They're at the Alouette 20. McManus behind the target, and it's picked off. Grabbed by Torrey Hunter. Second interception of the ball game for McManus. So the Eskimos come up empty. 31-16. Edmonton on top of the Alouettes. 11:32 to go in the 4th. To World Bowl. Look who's playing quarterback at Olympic Stadium in Montreal.
That's Malcolm Frank, who's now the corner for Edmonton, picks it off, and I felt responsible. Thought I needed to get down there and make that tackle.
Things get better after that for David Archer.
Yeah, we were able to score 14 points in the final 5 minutes of the game and win the ball game right here in Olympic Stadium. This was Eddie Brown right over the top of Glenn Rogers for the game winner.
Sacramento Surge over the Orlando Thunder, 21-17. Now, what is this? Is that World Bowl heavy or something? You can't even lift it.
That's about 50 pounds. You have to just go into off-season training just to actually be able to lift the trophy. That was a lot of fun.
Celebrating here at Olympic Stadium.
Boy, the guys
back a year or two ago.
The guys went into the archives for that one, didn't they?
You were just a pup. Well, the Alouettes get one back after the miscue on the field goal.
This is it. I think Danny tried to pull the ball back, it looked like. I don't think he really wanted to throw that, and it just, once you commit yourself to throw it, you got to let it go.
Torrey Hunter, second interception of the season. He was slightly injured on the play, but he'll take the interception and keep the Eskimos out of the end zone. Still lots of time for the Alouettes, and if Ham can generate the same kind of offense he was in the previous drive, there's lots of opportunity to get right back and make this a big finish. Ham has time and had a target. Chris Armstrong.
Well, he finally didn't get one of those coverages it's hard to figure out. He got man coverage across the board, and Edmonton came after him with the linebackers, which they don't do very often. He had Chris Armstrong running across the field, and Tracy just didn't make a very good throw here.
0 for the night for Chris Armstrong, whose struggle continues, and now he's limping as he heads into his formation. 2nd and 10. Catch is made by Nigel Williams, but it wasn't easy. Willie Pless was there to make the tackle, but Williams caught it twice.
He really did catch it twice, but I like the way Nigel Williams is trying to come to the rescue here for Tracy Ham. He talked about earlier in the week that he wasn't getting the football and he was frustrated. Felt like he could make something happen. Tracy wanted to throw the screen to Pringle to the right. Good block there. And Nigel's able to punch up forward and get the first down.
Williams has been a big target for Ham on first down here. Jock Climby out across the 40, and that'll be another Montreal first down, wrapped up by Tommy Henry. Climby's third catch of the night, good for 16 and a big first down.
There's a lot of veterans on this football team. Jock Climby's one of them. Had a great season last year, and those guys are stepping up. Climby had 12 catches last week. It looks like the veterans now are trying to take the bull by the horns a little bit. Tracy Ham, Mike Pringle, Jacques Climie, Nigel Williams stepping up and making some plays.
Jed Roberts, the latest Eskimo injured. Sees a lot of action backing up the defensive line for the Eskimos. The Edmonton front seven is really, or the Edmonton front four is really about a front six because they rotate some guys through. Greater Hartford golf coverage coming up and continuing tomorrow, 4 o'clock Eastern time. Hope you can join us for a little golf action tomorrow.
I'll be tuned into that.
In Winnipeg.
Yes,
we'll be
I
watching
will.
that in Winnipeg, getting ready for Friday night football.
I believe Wayne Levy's at the top right now. Wayne Levy shot a 64.
Maybe we can see what happened to Jed Roberts here. Bounced off the turf. Alouettes have a first down at the Montreal 41, and there's nowhere to run. Mike Pringle stuffed by Benny Goods.
Stuffed is a good word. He just swarmed and took the guard and everybody right back into the play. This is Benny Goods at his best. Watch Benny just drive straight in. Not a lot you can do with that.
Working on Ryan Coughlin there, who's a rookie out of McGill. 2nd and 14. Nigel Williams again, and a nice cut down tackle.
Tommy Henry came up and made the play there, and they went back to the well this time to Nigel Williams, and Tommy's seen it a few times. This time he smelled it out.
What did Henry tell us before the game? It's not much difference in the corner or linebacker. It's all about tackling. Here's how you do it.
Yeah, he just says my shoulders are a little sore. But a missed block by the offensive line right there. Bruce Beaton came out to try to make the block to key that, to spring Nigel Williams, and that's tough. You got a big guy out there that weighs 290 pounds trying to block a 180-pound cornerback or linebacker in this situation.
9:08 to go in the final quarter. Baker high, fairly deep, as the Giz awaits at 25. Markers down, a couple in fact. Randolph, the tackle on Henry Williams near the 35, will sort out the penalties when we return to CFL Live. Following us here in Montreal, second half of our CFL Thursday night doubleheader. Argonauts and the BC Lions. Al Shipman will be in fine form. Number 2 in all-purpose yards for the BC Lions, and David Archer played a little football with him too. McManus tried to dump it out. I'm going to narrow down the guys that you didn't play with. You never played with Tracy Ham, right?
I never played with Tracy Ham.
And you never played with Danny McManus either. But a lot of guys around this league you've been involved with.
Now, this is a screen pass, and the line just turns the defense loose way too early. That's usually a 3 count. The lineman will count 1,001, 1,002, 1,000, and then go. And obviously somebody has a little quicker count than somebody else because Peterson was whiffed.
He's made an impact here tonight, been in on several big plays for the Montreal defense. Danny McManus looks at 2nd and 10 from the shotgun. Won't get it away. Loose ball. Is it a fumble? Looks like the Eskimos get it back. Chris Morris.
That's a huge play by Chris Morris to prevent this from being recovered, but McManus, the time clock goes off in Danny's head because Swift Birch is coming to rip the head off. He just got down in time.
Good play by Morris, you're right.
Super play.
Just beat Tom Hips to the football. He looks angry. He should be happy about coming up with a ball.
The reason he was
a lot worse.
The reason he was able to recover that is because Swift just did the old up and over move and left him standing there in his dust, so he was in good position.
Chris Wright will get it around midfield. Fleming at his 5. It's high. Good hang tag. Another marker down. 42-yard punt. Tommy Henry leading the Eskimo tacklers. Fleming hasn't been kicking the ball that deep, but he's been getting it high, and the Eskimos have been covering it well.
Well, that's what Ron talked about. Ron talked about he really didn't worry too much about how far he was kicking it because he's kicking it so high. But
he's also throwing it for first downs here, first half, to the rookie. That's a gutsy call. You throw to a rookie on 2nd and 24.
And we found out that he did that on his own. That was a call on his own. But here he is flying down the field in the first half. Chris Wright inexcusably doesn't cover it. And Fleming is there. And watch the hustle. The ball actually, he doesn't actually get it the first time. Reaches out and makes the play. That was a big play.
Alouettes are 1st and 10, beginning at the Montreal 42 after a penalty. Ham. At last. Armstrong makes the catch and a brilliant run afterwards. Davis Reed finally tracked him down, but it was a long time coming for Chris Armstrong.
Well, this is all set up by play action. I've been talking about it. Les Brown talked about it at the end of the 3rd quarter. Play action to Mike Pringle. Everybody's keying him, and this has got to be a big confidence booster for Chris Armstrong. Watch the play action now to Mike Pringle. Mike Pringle's your running back right here. Going to get a play fake. Pulls the backers up. Now Armstrong finds that void, and Ham's on target.
First catch of the night. Markers are down. Tracy Ham may get a free one. Got a good block there. Ham. They call it a catch down at the 4-yard line. Jock Climby. But there are markers in the Eskimo secondary. 50 yards for Chris Armstrong on the previous play. Climby does a heck of a job to stay in bounds here.
Yeah, George Black's got laundry all over the field on this play.
Well, the fans here seem to know something that we can't tell from our vantage point.
Too many men, Edmonton. Penalty is declined. First down.
Too many men at a time like this.
Well, that'll tell you a little something about Tracy Ham. You put 13 or 14 guys on the field and you still can't track him down. But great
yards.
Yeah, great job by Jacques Climby to come back to the ball and work the sideline. That's a drill you work on all the time and rarely get to use. Climby did great there.
Look where the Alouettes are. 1st and goal to go at the Eskimo 5. Ham smells blood. Can't find a receiver. Can't get it away. They rule it an incomplete pass, and more markers down. Back in the Eskimo secondary again.
Penalty marker on the play.
We'll sort this one out. It'll be interesting here with the Alouettes.
He got a little illegal contact, I think, downfield from the Edmonton defense, which is probably why Tracy didn't have anybody to throw to. The receivers being illegally held up.
So too many men.
Illegal contact on an eligible receiver. Edmonton number 10. First down.
And then Malcolm Frank for illegal contact. So now the Alouettes are at the 2.5. First down and goal to go from there. Give it to the big guy, Mike Pringle, down to about the 1. Willie Pless was there. They've spent a lot of time in each other's arms tonight, Pless and Pringle.
Yeah, those are two great players pounding each other. You know, there's some confusion on the defensive side of the ball because of Trent Brown being out of the ball game. Chris Hardy isn't sure whether he's supposed to be in on the goal line package. He may have been the guy that was the extra guy.
Might well have been.
Last sequence, they were waving him off and waving him on. He didn't know whether he's supposed to be on or not.
So here are the Alouettes, down by 15. 2nd and goal to go from the 1-yard line. They have Pringle in the backfield. Second effort. Does he get in?
Yes, he did.
Touchdown, Montreal.
And that's just a huge drive. That really kicks them back into the ball game. And now it looks like they're going to go for 2. Tracy's waving to his offensive players to stay in the game. Going to go for 2 here, but What a big touchdown. They're right back in the ball game, and Mike Pringle stuffed on the initial effort, but he crams it in the end zone.
5th rushing touchdown of the season for Mike Pringle. He needed a little extra efforts to make it across the line. Alouettes go for 2. 4 receivers to the far side, and that's where Tracy Ham sprints. Now throws back over the middle. Jock Climby.
Boy, Tracy got away with one there, John. He had Climby so open, he tried to guide the ball to him and almost short-hopped him, and I'm not sure he didn't.
It was awfully close. Climby celebrated the 2 points very quickly down there. The Owls jump back in. They're down by a touchdown at the Big O.
Just one taste.
The officials have taken 2 points off the scoreboard, and Dave Ritchie is incensed at the Montreal bench. Originally, they awarded 2 points to Jock Climby on the convert try. You be the judge right here. You suggested it might have skipped. But you have to let the replay go just a little farther to see the official put his hands up in the air. Number 67 says 2 points. There you go.
Yeah, he's got the best angle on the play, too. I don't see how any other official could have overruled his decision. I mean, that's the guy that's got to make that call, and he made his call, and I can see why Dave Ritchie's upset. It certainly looks like the ball does skip.
Well, it's a close call, but
he makes the call.
He made the call. He made it. Overruled. No 2 points. The Alouettes are down by 9 with 5:41 to go. You think it skipped, don't you?
Yeah, I think it skipped. I thought it skipped.
You've gotten very quiet on me all of a sudden here. I'm just checking with you.
I'm just appalled that they allowed that to be overruled, but the guy that's supposed to make the call made the call. But a big touchdown for Montreal to get back in this ball game. This is far from over.
Down by 9, they have to score twice to get ahead of the Eskimos. Here's the Giz. Nice little run out to the 37. Stopped by Alan Wetmore. Solid special teams player. Mike Pringle over from 1.5 yards out.
Watch Mike Power. He stopped at the 2 and gets in.
See you late. Well, that official in your picture there didn't make the call. The one behind the line made the call on that.
Yeah. That was a great drive. Got him right back in the ball game. Mike punching it over from 1 yard on really second and third effort, but yeah, don't get me started on the officials.
No, I won't.
In fact, we talked to George Black before the game, and he's so happy I'm up here and not down on the field. He's beside himself.
Were you a little chatterbox down there? You were just giving your opinion, I'm sure.
Yes, just a mild-mannered opinion.
Up to the Alouette defense to get it back in a hurry. First down, Edmonton. Don Blair the catch, wrapped up in a hurry. Herb Smith made a good defensive play. Gave him the catch and then limited the gain to about 3.
And you're exactly right, John. This is a great play because he limits the gain to just 3 yards. This is supposed to be a 6-yard route, 3-step drop, about a 6-yard hitch route. Blair steps back to catch the ball, and then Smith is there to make the play. Now they're in second and long.
And that always makes it a little bit difficult for a quarterback facing a situation like this, and the Alouettes defense fired up a bit. McManus stumbled a little bit, might have fumbled the ball in the exchange. Might have fired that one away.
Yeah, Danny was in trouble right from the jump. He almost dropped the snap, which kind of discombobulates you a little bit. You take your eyes off the coverage and look down to re-secure the ball, and things don't look the way they did when you looked the first time.
A little pressure, too, and I think it was Doug Peterson who's been mentioned several times tonight. Look at 94 right through, and that caused more problems for McManus.
Yeah, they've only rushed 3 people a lot tonight, and again, Les Brown alluded to this at the break, but those 3 have done a pretty good job. They put some pretty good pressure on when they've had the opportunity.
John Fleming will kick it to Chris Wright. Again, you can't hit the roof in Olympic Stadium, but Fleming has put it up there. And Chris Wright had a tough time returning punts last week. Not much of a return there, just 46 yards. Mike Faraway leading the tacklers. You've spotted another bit of nylon on the turf, haven't you?
Yes, and I think my old buddy Tony Burse was involved this time. He's a special teams ace, and a lot of times he gets double team coming down the field, and I think there was a bit of the illegal stuff going on.
Holding, Montreal number 90, first down.
It's your other old pal, Swift Birch. You've got friends on both teams playing just about every position on the field.
Well, I could put together a heck of a ball.
You could build a pretty good team out of just the guys you've played with. You know what we could do? We could draft all these guys and take them to Ottawa and start a CFL team there in Lansdowne.
Well, they would have some fun. Two quarterbacks, been kind of a workman-like night. A couple of mistakes by both guys, but they played pretty solid this evening.
Both with a chance at 300 yards. Tracy's opportunity now. Ham can't spot anyone open. Elects to take off and gets about halfway to a first down. Bruce Dixon forced him out. So which quarter is it? The fourth quarter. Edmonton has dominated. The Alouettes have not. But tonight that has been a slightly different story. The Alouettes have marched for one touchdown.
You know, I think the season's so young that statistics like that you throw out the window. You start looking at week 16 or week 17. That's something that makes a factor. It's a factor, but not right now.
2nd and 5. Ham on the out. Far side has Jock Climby. Glenn Rogers supplied the coverage. So Climby becoming a bit more of a factor in the later stages of the ball game. Actually, last week, caught 5 of his 12 passes in the fourth quarter.
And Tracy has taken the reins of the offense. We talked about maybe going to a no huddle at the break at halftime, and that's exactly what they've done. They did a little bit of it at the end of the half, and Tracy's been calling all the plays now and getting all his people involved.
First down, Montreal. Ham is 9 points behind. There has to be a call there. Coverage on Nigel Williams. Williams ended up on the carpet. And there's an argument over there with Malcolm Frank.
They're grabbing him all day. They've been grabbing him for 2 weeks.
Someone in the Alouettes bench suggesting that Frank had been holding for 2 weeks.
On an eligible receiver, Edmonton number 10, first down.
Well, Malcolm can get away with a few over there. He's got a pretty good reputation as a good cover guy. And you see him at the top of the screen or the left side of your screen. Right there. There's the little confrontation. Malcolm saying, hey, I'm just standing my ground. Nigel saying, hey, he cut me off on purpose. That's a judgment call over there. And I think Malcolm was a little illegal there.
3:02 to go, fourth quarter, first down, Montreal. Al's down by a little, intercepted here off the fingertips and right into the hands of Malcolm Frank, who gets even. It's back to the Montreal bench to explain his situation.
Yeah, that's the same place he picked me back in '92 when he was with the Orlando Thunder, but this is a huge interception. Montreal really had something. We got a flag on the field, and I think Malcolm went over and did a little John with Marvin Graves after the interception. But again, this ball's thrown a little high, but it's a ball that's got to be caught. Nigel's done a good job for him all night, but the 6'4" frame can't pull that one down. And that's what Edmonton does so well, is they stay in their zones and stay in their coverages and come up with those tip balls.
Second interception in 2 weeks. 7th career for Malcolm Frank.
Oh, for... You know, if you don't take care of your car, you won't be seeing too much this summer. So get to Midas first. Right now, they'll give your car a lube oil and filter, inspect the cooling system, check all fluids, rotate your tires, set tire pressure, and check all lights, hoses, and belts. All for just $34.95. Plus, you'll get a free written inspection of your brakes. It's the way it should be. Midas. I think it's clearing up.
Well, Jerry, I don't know about you.
Looking for something different?
I can remember in the past.
Want to get involved?
Feel the rush. Get in the game. The CFL is back, more radical than ever. The action never stops. It's hard-hitting, high-scoring football. Where are the attitudes? Feel the rush. Get in the game.
And he's taken down.
Flutie and the Argonauts against the British Columbia Lions in Game 2 of our CFL Thursday night doubleheader. Following our telecast in Montreal tonight, Alfred Payton took the last penalty as we went to break. Unnecessary roughness against the Alouettes. And that means the Eskimos are set up at the 15 with a first down. Eric Blunt had nowhere to go and then is wrapped up by Doug Peterson. Originally cut off. Was that Swift Birch?
Swift Birch again. Swift's had a nice game tonight.
Show you the infraction against Payton. This was right after the Frank interception. No hat on. Can't do that, can you? You can't come off the bench.
Yeah, but there's a change of possession. He's coming on the field as a defender. I think that's a rotten call. He's just pushing the guy away from the sideline because he's talking to his people on the bench. That's a bad call.
McManus is down. Swift Birch once more.
Well, you said it, John. He's played a great ball game tonight, and I talked to him before the game. He said he's really happy to be here. I said, how's it feel to be 3-1? Because he was with me last year and we were 0-4. And he says, boy, it's just nice to be able to show up and play for a team that expects to win and actually get a paycheck.
John Fleming with 2:09 to go. 1 for 1, hit from 40. Kemp will hold. Even 3 points here makes it pretty tough for the Alouettes to come back. Fleming is up, and he has it. 34-22. So that makes it 22 points. So 2 touchdowns and go for a 2-point conversion on 1. Big part of the Eskimo community, Danny McManus. Part of a helping hand at the Glen Rose Hospital in Edmonton. The Eskimos get involved for charity and spend some time with the patients there. McManus donates $100 for every touchdown and every Edmonton Eskimo victory to the hospital, and that sum is matched by some Edmonton businessmen. First down, Tracy Ham, Alouettes. Second catch of the game for Chris Armstrong.
Yeah, he told you $100 for a touchdown pass and $100 for a victory. And I think more importantly, people need to understand what kind of guy Danny McManus is. He's a team leader, very quiet, very soft-spoken, takes a lot of hits for some of the throws he makes in games, but that's nice to see because there's a lot of guys in this league that get involved in their communities, and McManus is one of them.
Armstrong heads to the end zone, can't get there. Davis Reed tracked him down. Chris Armstrong, who had such a horrible first half, has come alive in the second half and gets the Alouettes a little closer. Had a 50-yard reception and run earlier. That play covered 54 yards.
Well, Chris Armstrong is a big play guy. In '94, he caught 1,500 yards worth of balls, 18 touchdowns on 72 receptions. And this is the same play he caught early, just finding that soft spot in the zone in the middle of the field. And the youngster Chris Hardy's not there to make the play. Nice block there on Malcolm Frank, and Davis Reed shows you what kind of speed he's got as he tracks down Armstrong.
34-22, a 12-point difference. Ham. Low.
You know, Tracy's kicking himself a little bit, and I think he's a little disappointed with the route by Nigel Williams. I think there's some indecisiveness in some of these short routes. And Tracy's not able to squeeze the trigger on some of the throws, and I think that's what's making him throw the ball low a little bit. That should have been a completion for a touchdown, but I don't think he knew where Nigel was going to set down for him.
A low toss by Tracy Ham. The quarterback is angry at himself. Second and goal to go for the 8. Great defensive play. Climby, the intended target. And Tommy Henry stepped in front, or at least got a hand on the ball.
This is a guy that loves to play football, boy. Tommy Henry. Tommy's number 13. He's right there. Tommy's going to be playing Jacques Climby. Playing inside like he's supposed to against man coverage. Now watch him break on the ball. Almost another INT. He's got one tonight already.
That's part of the deal. Talking about these tweeners, the quickness of a guy like Tommy Henry to cover a receiver like Jacques Climby, or a linebacker, or at least a prototype linebacker, does not have that kind of speed. Third crack at it for the Alouettes. 3rd and 8. 3rd and goal. Tracy Ham eludes one, throws, and one hopped it. Nigel Williams, the receiver, in Ham's eyes, and Reed and Tommy Henry supplying the coverage for the Eskimos. This should just about lock it up for Edmonton.
I see a lot of indecisiveness in Tracy, more than I've seen him in a long time. I just don't think he thinks people are winning for him downfield, and he's trying to scramble and make something happen himself. And Leroy Blue and Benny Goods coming after you. It's hard to get out of that pocket and make something happen because those guys all run so well. Tracy taking maybe a little bit more on his shoulders than he needs to. Guy's just not winning for him when he needs them.
But, you know, he's had some problems with his receivers in the last 2 games. Chris Armstrong has come on and played well in the 4th quarter. 3 receptions for 115 yards second half. But realistically, there were drop footballs here tonight that would have made a big difference to the Alouettes' hopes and their cause. Let's bring in Rod Smith with CFL Control.
Well, John, once we're done in Montreal, we'll head west to Vancouver and BC Place. Mike Pinball Clemens and the Argonauts at 3-1, taking on the BC Lions, also at 3-1, and the Argos at this point looking to win that game and take over sole possession of first in the East Division, assuming Montreal loses.
I think we should head right back to the hotel, get a couple of cups of tea, and sit down and watch a little of that.
Glenn and Gord out there getting ready to do that one. 2 3-1 teams.
Eric Blunt tracked down from behind with 25 seconds on the clock. The Eskimos on the verge of going 4-1. They'll get set to play Saskatchewan next Thursday night. Alouettes have a tough test after this one against the Argonauts at Skydome next Thursday. We'll have that one for you on TSN.
Well, they burned their timeout. Montreal burned their timeout, try to conserve some time, get one more shot, give Tracy one more opportunity to pop it in here. They've actually had their opportunities here in the second half to punch a few in to close and maybe have a chance to win this ball game, but haven't been able to make the plays down in the scoring zone, and their special teams have really let them down tonight.
Well, if Wright can take this all the way for the touchdown, then there is a glimmer of hope, but really not very much. 25 seconds on the clock. The Alouettes have to score twice to win this ball game. They're down by 12. Fleming will take some time off the clock, and maybe they can't give up 2 points at this stage without giving up the football, but he does get time off the clock. It's down to 12. There's a marker down. Fleming
I'm kind of
has done
surprised
some interesting things tonight. Now, what they wanted to do was get the time off the clock, right? Because we know that Montreal has to score twice, and you can't score twice in 12 seconds, even in this league, can you?
No, it's a situation where it's pretty much out of reach, but if you're going to do that, why don't you put in like Eddie Brown to do that?
Well, because we've watched Sean Fleming throw passes tonight and recover fumbles.
Let's put Gizmo Williams in the game. Let him do that.
Take the time off the ticker.
I guarantee you it'd be tough to. He just got through running off to 8 seconds. Giz might be able to take all of it.
Edmonton number 13. Penalty is declined. Safety touch score.
I guess they're afraid that they won't catch the football, but that's their job. They catch the football all the time. I've never.
Well, still 10 points for the tie with 12 seconds on the clock. So they accomplished a little bit. They have to give the football away.
Don't worry about it. They're taking the ball
these games always being in doubt, but John, you can bank on this one. This one's over with.
I think this one is over. 10 points in 12 seconds. I think it is impossible.
Offense, let's go.
Well, they're taking the ball, so they're not going to chance a return here. So technically speaking, you could throw the bomb here, hit the end zone with 6 seconds on the clock, recover the onside kick, and go all the way for the touchdown, right?
No.
No? Well,
Tracy's trying to get him to give him the ball down on their side of the field. He's trying to talk him into just about anything, but George has got it sorted out, and we've got 12 seconds left.
so the Alouettes on the verge of losing 2 in a row. The Eskimos ready to chalk up their 4th win of the season and take over top spot in the West, at least momentarily. Here's Pringle. And they give him a little ground. And he's dropped at the 50-yard line with 4 seconds remaining. So they let Pringle take a little time off the clock himself.
And that's what you want to do as a defense in this situation. You just want to let them complete the ball underneath, come up, make the tackle, and let's get home so we don't get anybody banged up and get ready for the next one.
Alouettes were victimized by the Eskimos on a couple of plays tonight. Should be the last play of the ball game. Pringle on the draw. He'll be over 100 yards against the Eskimos, but the run goes for naught as the Montreal Alouettes come up 12, or I should say come up short by 10 points.
You know, I think there's going to be a lot of soul searching on that Alouette sideline. There's going to be a lot of guys that may be wondering whether they're going to have a job come next week. A lot of drop balls and things. So be interesting to see how Dave Ritchie handles that.
Alouettes are already thinking about the Argonauts next Thursday as they lose by 10 to the Eskimos on home turf.
Play Safeway's all-new $1 million touchdown to win for your chance. All right, TSN.
The CFL Live on TSN is brought to you by Advantage, providing solutions for business. And by Gatorade. Life is a sport. Drink it up.
Welcome back, CFL Live, the post-game show. In between the doubleheader, the Edmonton Eskimos by 10 over Montreal. The Eskimos, the first 4-game winner in the CFL, and 3 of those wins have come on the road. Certainly impressively tonight in Montreal. For all the talk we could have, Bob Obilovich, about how things went wrong with Montreal, things went awfully right with Edmonton tonight.
I think you got to give full marks to the Edmonton Eskimos. I thought their coaches had them well prepared for this game. They did a lot of things that no one probably expected, and one area that really impressed me as the game went on was that the way that Edmonton defensive secondary played. They were really sharp tackling and covering guys, and they did a great job for most of the ball game.
Well, Bob, I can't help but wonder about the Alouettes. I mean, they progressed off the field with a little bit of a better crowd, but on the field they regressed. It was their 2nd consecutive clunker, and I'm wondering how the fans in Montreal will react now.
Well, you know, in Montreal, right now, they don't have 2 things that match. They have peanut butter, no jelly. They have a game and no crowd. A crowd, no game. But they do have to start getting some things together, you know. But players cannot worry about what's going on up in the stands or the stuff that they have to worry about that like Larry Smith and them should worry about. Larry took that team into Montreal, and maybe he should be the one to pull the plug and take them to Ottawa, but I don't know. That's just my theory.
You know what? It makes some sense, because I think in Ottawa they'd get more than 10,000.
Oh, you know what? In Ottawa's worst struggling years, they had over 16,000.
Well, the Ottawa Rough Riders, when they played, they got the crowd sometimes, but they didn't have very good teams. Montreal has had the good team going, but did not look very good tonight in falling to 3-2, and the Argos coming up next for them. And the Argos also coming up against BC. It's the Edmonton Eskimos victorious in Montreal. And yes, we're just halfway through the doubleheader. Off to Vancouver. CFL Live returns after this.
Don't miss SPGA drama with an international flair at the Senior British Open. The legends of the game are putting on a show in Northern Ireland. The Senior British Open coverage continues.
It's game 2 of our CFL doubleheader. Don Matthews is looking for win number 4, and it's up to ace quarterback Doug Flutie to come through tonight. Adam Rita wants a win as well. His ace in the hole is Lions QB Damon Allen, and he's the CFL's leading passer. It's the top two quarterbacks in the CFL looking to go 4-1 next.